They wandered far through Gillinor to Menopause, 10 leagues or more, for riches quest and to explore many deeds they're unsung for. On carpet's wings the hero came to win renown and find acclaim, and well deserved of their fame. Hear the tale of the bold one's name.
Greetings, and welcome to a special edition of RuneScape Weekly. Maishmid here, hail Tumakin! Hello, Lord Underking. Very special edition of RuneScape Weekly coming up for you very shortly here, the Menopause Mega Show. Let me go ahead and unmute myself within the Discord channel. Very good. And I'm going to lower this music ever so slightly.
Hey,
there
hey.
we go.
I moved my mic back off my face a little bit, so maybe that'll make it sound better. I don't know.
That might. I will raise you up like 25% now, because that's definitely noticeable. All right.
Well, I guess that's good. Hopefully it stops the weird peaking that was going on.
Yes.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
Microphones are stupid.
Microphones are stupid. They're hard. Like, audio engineering, it turns out, is like hard. And I'm not a huge fan. But I think we're sounding okay.
In case I forget to say this in the main show, PBM Perspective has been delayed because of audio issues. So that's part of why I hate microphones. So that episode should be coming out this weekend once we have those issues as fixed as we can get them. Didn't really want to release it with half-broken audio. So that's what's been going on there for people who are wondering.
Yeah, I think most people can understand that. YouTube's gone and changed its stuff again, and I'm confused. I'm trying to log into my YouTube backend here. And of course, they've somehow made that difficult. Alright. Every time YouTube asks me, like, on a scale of sad face to, like, really happy face, how satisfied I am with their streaming service, I go down, slightly each time as far as slowly getting closer to frowny face. Like, I'm so jealous of all the cool Twitch features.
Too bad you can't just put like a nuclear explosion or something on top of your head or something. Like, stop changing the damn things, will you?
I wouldn't even want to force a poor nucleus to do that to itself. That sounds horrible. But I will still attempt to put a show together here for us.
I mean, it's a bit, I don't know, like, yeah, as someone who uses Twitch primarily and then like uploads videos to YouTube, the YouTube interface, I don't know, it feels
garbage.
It feels like I'm using a Linux box or something where it's just like it's so unintuitive, and like I'm sure it's powerful if you know what you're doing potentially, but it's just like this shit's here and then this shit's in a completely different place, and like why aren't they together? We don't know. And then you go to Twitch and you just go to your dashboard and everything's in your dashboard, and it keeps getting better as time goes on instead of worse. Yeah, the difference is it's a pretty stark contrast between the two services.
It is. And the features are just, like, ridiculously different. Like, we just got drops enabled on Twitch. Like, I'll ever use that feature, but it's still really cool. I really hope it would be really cool if RuneScape enabled drops for its streamers, especially in RuneScape 3, where the RuneScape 3 kind of, I would say, streaming community is a little lacking for the most part. It would be interesting to see if they added like drops available in game for people watching Twitch streamers, maybe to kind of bring some awareness to the fact that not all RuneScape 3 Twitch streamers are boring. I don't know, but sounds like a cool new feature that RuneScape could take advantage of.
That would be fun. I mean, I think since today's going to be a Manifest show and we're planning on doing a special about, so we probably won't cover it, but I mean the old school community this week is definitely showing it's terrible colors, I would say, and I think a lot of that has to do with the shittiness you can even see somewhat inside of parts of the Twitch community. Unfortunately, there's a big, the active part of that community that is just super, super shitty for some.
Didn't they do the Pride thing
reason.
this week, Harley?
Yeah, and the Mod Wolf, who announced it, has just been getting nothing but hate, and the really subreddit has just been covered in homophobic shit. I mean, you know, homophobia is I mean, this is why like we have Pride. The funniest thing about this whole reaction, like I said, we're gonna go in depth on this on a show at some point.
Yeah, probably soon. This weekend.
Yeah, that's the plan. But like, it's funny to, it's not funny. It's ironic to see people act like this about Pride in the video game, because it just reminds you, like, this is exactly why Pride is a thing, is because people act like this when LGBT people are brought up.
Yeah, I mean, I just read the show.
And it's funny too, because they try to sell it off as like it's because they didn't poll the event, but Jagex has not polled a special event for old school RuneScape since 2015, and there have not been any riots about it until this point. And now there's like literal riots. Like, I mean, people may not who don't follow the old school community closely line this, but there's people who, like, when riots happen, like literally dress up like KKK members in old school and walk around just like spamming terribly racist shit. Like, and that's been going on all week in that game. It's real gross.
Yeah, so I believe we have a plan to both do the event on Old School, which would be up to you, Harley, because I don't really have an Old School account. But I'll be right. I'm hoping to be there with you while it happens, and I think we're also going to do kind of a little bit of investigative journalism and kind of dedicate some time to exactly what went down to help educate people who are unaware of what happens. This shouldn't just be swept under the rug, for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be much like the Canada Girl thing. Probably have close to 100 links saved that I'm gonna go through and decide which ones we don't need. But that'll be coming out
because of the sensitivity of of that type of topic. It's probably not going to be a live show, so look out on your feeds for it, and it will probably be being produced this weekend. So look forward to that.
People need to leave their prejudices at the door. This is an online game, man. Come on, get over it. Get over
and I think just quick to it's important to keep the perspective that as big as the Old School subreddit is, it still doesn't make up the majority of that community.
No,
so we have no idea what the silent majority of that community might feel about this event. I would guess most of them aren't this
fine with it.
Exactly. It's exactly what I was gonna say. But what people. There's this tendency to create an echo chamber when you're on social media that everybody who plays this game is here, and so therefore this is the opinion and it's correct. And it's important to keep in mind that even in Old School, the subreddit does not dictate the whole community. The majority of the Old School community probably doesn't even know the subreddit exists, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to so many players who don't even know that Reddit exists, and I'll be honest, until probably about maybe 2013 or so, I never used Reddit for anything. I specifically began going there for the show, and that's the only reason why I probably am there today is because of what we do here. But I don't want to
start using Reddit until 2015. I mean, I didn't even realize it existed until then.
I didn't realize that it was useful for certain things. I was, I just heard rumors that it was more of a formal version of a 4chan, basically, is what I had always thought of it as, but apparently it's much more than that. Anyway,
it took me a long time to use Reddit because I was a Dig user back in probably 2000 from 2005 to 2007 for people who remember that service. So I didn't join Reddit for a very long time because I still think it's inferior to what Dig used to be in many ways. But it's where that aspect of community-based news, I guess you would call it, has moved.
Sure. Yeah, it does. It has moved. Dig was it was phenomenon for a while, and it just disappeared, probably due to sites like Reddit, I would guess. I should check my Shark Ethereal. I'm still stuck at 53,928. That tells me that I must already have some pieces that exist. So I think I'm gonna...
If you're stuck at one amount, then that means you've got enough to complete the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have enough to complete the whole thing, so I'm gonna be doing that.
While we're on about Menopause, Mod Shawnee just released a tweet just a short time ago about the list of hotfixes and issues in a list. So I've got the link in the live. I've got the link in the live.
Do we have that as part of our Menopause rundown, Harley? Or is that brand new?
That's only just come up.
All right, cool. Let's get that in there then.
Come up in the last hour.
Let's get that in there then. Let me take a look at it. So this is. Can you link me to it?
Yeah, it's in the hashtag live.
Okay, cool. Let me pull that up, and we'll make a quick adjustment here before we begin the actual show. So let's take a look. This is hotfixes and issues. Okay. We'll probably cover this at the end then, since the majority is building up. I think. When I say at the end, I think. Let me just take a look at our shows. We have the TDW. We should probably put it right after that, I would assume. Then we could pop into the open discussions and then talk about some of the more niche things inside of the city. And then we can get into the opinion posts on it, and then okay, cool, yeah, all right, that's how we'll roll with that. All right, so let's put it right there. Menopause, hotfixes, and issues. Bang. Cool. We're still listening to this hot freaking Menopause soundtrack, though I'm probably gonna fade it out soon, and we're probably gonna begin the show. It's really long. It's nice though.
The track goes for 15 bloody minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty long. We're 10 minutes into it. So, if you want to check it out, it's just soundcloud.com/ I believe, what is it, RuneScape soundtrack?
I think.
Yeah, it's RuneScape soundtrack. So there you go. We're going to just kind of fade out of that real quick, and I got to bring up the intro music, and we'll begin the show very shortly here. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you enjoyed the pre-show here. People have been wanting a longer pre-show, so slightly obligated there, I suppose, to try and deliver. I got all these shark pieces now. I got to go over to my bank real quick. I'll quickly, before we do begin, I will make the outfit for anyone who's curious about that process. So let me just switch over to the live game here. Alright, so I'm gonna pop my freaking bank pin in real quick. Give me a second.
His bank pin, that's his actual card bank pin, you know, when he
Definitely.
goes out and takes his money out.
Alright, so if I search the word shark in my bank, that should bring up any shark pieces I do have, which is only 2. Now I should be able to just combine these, right? Oh, look at that. Look at that magic.
Yeah.
Also,
There's a small chance
speak
that
to
one's a
the dude.
Diango, but who knows?
Yeah,
There
Diango,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
for sure.
I think
was gonna say that.
I think I checked Diango. Oh, we're good. Look at this. This is the glory of the Fury Shark. All right, how do I consume options? Okay, consume fish. Life is complete. It is. I can officially AFK Menafish. I'm so excited.
Menafish. I like that. I like that name. I've never heard
That
that
was
before.
100% Zenel, not me. I give credit where
Yes,
credit
Zenel.
is due on that one. Alright, cool. So let's just run back to my spot. Let me switch back to the show overlay here. Thank you for your patience. Oh, it's so good. I've been waiting for this outfit for so long. I have 120 fishing. Friggin' I'm finally get access to the shark outfit. Like, far too late for any, like, real use, but it's gonna make this way easier.
That's fishing with an F, isn't it? Not
Definitely
fishing with a
fishing with an
PH.
I do anti-fishing with a PH. Okay, let me just bring up the music here, and then let's get this show on the road. All right, let's see here. We got some... Is VLC player still open? Nope. All right. Let's see. Intro song. Intro. There it is.
Is my connection good at the moment, guys? I'm on wireless.
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Good.
All right. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for 6/9/2017. I'm your host, MageBit, with over 15 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Harley and DXTLB, and on today's show, Menaphos Mega Show. Welcome back for your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. It's time for the Megaphos Mena Show. Yep, the Menaphos Mega Show. I am very excited to be here. We have an awesome rundown brought to you by Harley, who's put together the show notes for this show, and it is a very well put together rundown on pretty much the entirety of this week, and we're gonna kick off with that very shortly here. But real quick, let's check in with our co-host DX. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's been a wild week for me, especially over here in Australia, just in general, because the last 3 or 4 days it has been raining pretty much non-stop. I don't know whether or not you can hear it outside. It is pissing down rain outside at the moment.
Luckily not.
Yeah. Also, earlier on in the week, my Ethernet crapped out on me. We eventually did track it down. Apparently, one of the ports died on the router.
Ah.
So, in a panic, we're trying to figure out what's going on. Ended up getting a wireless adapter, which is what I'm currently using. So hopefully, I'm coming through all right.
Yeah, you're coming through pretty good.
Apart from that, I've been God, here we go again. Menopausing around.
Nice.
Thank you to the RR man who put together a bloody highlight package and me.
Oh, yes.
Menopause.
That reminds me, we have a best of that we're going to be playing that our man for the podcast version of the show, and I will be using it as the intro for the show next week. But podcast listeners will get to hear it on today's episode. I was obligated to play the frickin' 15-minute Menaphos song today, so instead of taking a 10-minute break in the middle of the show, we'll play it as the intro instead of music next time. And podcast listeners, stay tuned for the end of the show. How you doing, Joe Milne? How you doing? We are about to get going in here. Harley, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. Menaphos has been super fun. We did a super long stream on Monday about it.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah,
fun.
almost 8 hours. That was a great stream.
think I was a bit over because well, actually, I don't remember. I was around 8 hours. I think I was almost.
You were
exactly at
longer
8
than I
hours.
was, slightly, for
Yeah,
sure.
it was like half an hour or something.
Yeah, you were
longer.
going like at least 30 minutes before me, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was super fun, and then I got sucked into World of Warcraft because Sudwood bought me a month of membership, so
Nice.
I've been playing that. And I do want to say about PBR Perspective, there was supposed to be an episode last week. It's been delayed a bit because we were had some recording audio issues that we're still trying to fix, but once those are fixed, it should be out. Hopefully, this weekend is the goal we're shooting for, so just wanted to let people know what was going on with that.
Yeah, we apologize for that, obviously. The episode is recorded. It's just some minor technical difficulties keeping us from posting it. We just want to make sure we release the highest quality product possible, and I'm sure you understand that. You don't want to be deafened randomly throughout the show. So we will, of course, be hopefully fixing that as soon as possible. And I appreciate your patience, and we'll get that out, yeah, probably this weekend. I don't see a problem with that. I'm going to do my best to look at it tonight. I've just been really busy this week. I mean, Menopause aside, I've been really busy in real life too. So yeah, when I get home this evening, I'll take a look at it. Unless you beat me to it by then, but I'll see what I can do. So yeah, Menopause, it has arrived. I'm excited for it. I've been excited for it. Obviously, I think everyone has. It has been a wonderful introduction. If you haven't, both Harley and I were both live for it. You can check out both of our perspectives. We kind of did, basically, for the most part, we were together for the whole stream, but we went off and did our own things during different parts as well. So you can check out her perspective on Queen of Blaze, and mine's on MageBit.tv. So check them out if you're interested. But today, we're going to be going into pretty much the reactions, the questions, the comments, the good, the bad, the ugly. So I suppose before we do that, we'll quickly run into a few PSAs, and then we'll jump into the TLDW for the post-Menopause Q&A. DX, would you like to grab the PSAs?
Thank you very much, mate. The minigame Spotlight is currently on Castle Wars, so if you ever wanted Thailers, that's the easiest way you can get them, so just go ahead and get them that way.
Definitely.
Also, yeah, you can just AFK there for 20 minutes, you'll be right. You get 20 of them. The circus is currently located in Tavali, and the free Solomon General Store item for June is the Sky Jump Teleport. Now, that's normally 483 rune coins for non-members and 432 rune coins for members. So take advantage of that one while it's free.
Snag it up. Very
yeah.
nice. Very nice. So our first document to kick off this show is the TLDW provided by I'm Rubik, which is the post-Menopause Q&A, which I believe took place a couple days ago. And so it starts off by opening up with some general information. So starting June 9th, there will be an open weekend for free players, which is kind of a novel concept. I don't think RuneScape has ever done that before. That's kind of cool. Like,
I believe it's open. I believe it's underway now, I believe.
Yeah, is it June 9th? Cool. It is June 9th. So yeah, very well might be open right now. So if you, what I'm understanding here is if you have a free-to-play account, this city will not be locked out. So are they going to be able to do the quest, did they say? Or are they just going to be able to enter it? That's interesting.
It's full access.
Full
so
access.
It's an opt-in thing. It's basically like 3 free days of membership or whatever. So
cool.
if you
so
they made it opt-in because apparently I discovered from this event that there are free-to-play clans that will literally ban you if you ever become a member. Like it's an elitist thing. It's the funniest thing in the universe to me.
It's like when a certain people are forced to eat food and then they call it a delicacy. Just, because they want to make it snobby, whatever. Point being, that's funny. Anyway, let me continue.
What about the XP Waste clans or something,
Oh, there's plenty of those. There's a 5% XP boost for activities done within Menopause and the Sophanum Slayer dungeon. So basically, if you have any activity whatsoever that can be done in Menopause, that's like a bank standing activity, do it there. There's bonus XP, plus rep. So that's pretty cool. The Desert Pantheon Aura's last effect, the 10% bonus reputation gain, starts on June 12th and costs 125 charges. I already knew it started on the 12th because I've already tried to activate it. I was like, I would love to have a boost. No boost for me yet. So the boost goes live on the 12th, I'm assuming to curb people from getting there super quickly. So that's that. So again, Menopause has a system that don't think many people in the RPG realm look at on paper and go, yes, I want this in my game, and that's a reputation system. We saw a lot of people complaining about the reputation system. But on the flip side, the reputation system has been a part of like RPG culture since the end of time, the beginning of time rather, and probably the end of time. Go ahead.
We definitely have a lot of topics on this, so I don't want to dive in too much of my opinions, but I do just want to say that, like, I can understand on some level issues with reputation system, but I think it's important to keep the perspective that, like, it's not like they're all over RuneScape. Like, if every city that were to come out from Menaphos on were to have a rep system, it would suck, and I would totally understand the complaints, and I would be one of the people complaining. But when you look at when you just judge Menaphos by itself, like, first of all, I think there's a really good lore reason for the rep system, and like, you know, and it's one piece of content that has it. It's not like this is going to be every future piece of content ever is going to have some kind of rep system.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't, but on the if I say on the flip side one more time, I'm gonna freaking smash my head through a wall. I'm getting sick of that word.
It used to be a name of one of my segments.
It did. Maybe I've stolen it from you, DX. I apologize. No,
now you've run it into the ground.
What I'm trying to say is I always saw reputation in RuneScape as the task system that we currently have. Like that's I've always looked at the task system as kind of a form of reputation because it would unlock things generally in that area or to make certain activities easier as a whole once you had completed them. So I always saw the task system as a form of a reputation system in RuneScape, so to see another form of a reputation system doesn't bother me at all. Like it's not like they've already had this in game. It's like they're doing something different from what we currently have, and I personally don't have a problem with it. But it just seems as though a lot of people don't like the idea of a reputation system, and I think it has more to do with people chasing comp than anything else in RuneScape specifically. Because I mean, RPGs are grinds. Like what?
Well, especially, there's been so many comments on the subreddit that's like, I can't believe this is grind in RuneScape. And I'm like, what fucking game have you been playing for the last 16 years? Like, RuneScape has always been a grind. Like, from the beginning. This rep system is nothing compared to, like, most leveling a lot of the skills in the game.
Right? We're going to have a guest coming on the show in a second here who wants to also talk about Menaphos, longtime listener, Ephisticks. I think they've been on the show before. I just have to give them the proper permissions here to speak. I'll let them know to pop into general so I can give them the correct permissions to get into the live room. But shall I continue on, or did you have any more points you wanted to make in regards?
Nope, you can go on.
All right, so let's talk about the reputation system real quick. So there are no plans to change max rates of reputation, but we will continue to listen to feedback. They may look to improve reputation rates with other content that are not Shifting Tombs to be more competitive. That's interesting. And you will occasionally gain 25 reputation for skills and activities that are not part of Menaphos, which seems really out of place to me, but...
I have actually gotten 25 rep for doing things that ain't part of the Menaphos reputation thing. Like, I was... What was it? I think I was using making bonfires with those logs, and I got 25 rep, and I was wondering what I was getting the rep for, because that's not a part of it.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. It seems like they're trying to throw a bone to people who don't want to train in Menaphos, but it's 25 reputation, like, randomly is, to me, not really anything more than a tease and mildly insulting. So I just, I don't understand what that is any more than trying to maybe gauge people's interest in Menaphos. Like, hey, oh, what was that? And then you had to go look up on the wiki or ask someone why you got a random little 25 reputation from. Like, maybe you're unaware of Menaphos. Like, it's the only reason I can think of why they would put such a small bonus outside was to mainly intrigue people. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's a balancing. It's like I believe it's only it's anything
so
you
small,
do anything you do inside the city. Well, it's 25 every 30 seconds. So I don't know.
No, it's not inside the city though. It says that are not part of Menaphos. Like, this is just random rep anywhere in the world.
I think the wording may be a little bit messed up there, because my understanding is it's any skilling that you do. Like say you brought a portable to Menaphos.
Oh, okay. So this is just badly worded, is what I'm understanding.
I think I could.
So
be,
what they're
I could
saying
be wrong,
is if I'm bank standing a skill in Menaphos that is not part of Menaphos, like bow fletching, I will randomly gain
Yeah.
25 reputation occasionally.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Okay.
About fire making.
Unless there's a
Okay.
different part that I don't know, because that's the
well,
part that
makes,
I know of.
That makes way more sense. If I'm out at the incandescent wisp colony and I randomly got 25 reputation, I would be really confused and slightly put off. And that's where I thought this wording was coming from, and I apologize for that. That was weirdly worded, I guess, in my defense. But sorry, that makes way more sense.
Yeah,
Fair
it is
enough.
a little bit weirdly worded. So what and I think what it is definitely it's like a balanced thing. So they want the best rep that's not a daily to be shifting tombs, and then to kind of go down from there. I think there is an issue where I think that fishing shouldn't necessarily be the best way. Like I feel like wood cutting should get you the same amount of rep that fishing does. I think there's an issue, but it makes sense to have the lowest tier of rep be doing whatever you want to inside of Metaphos, because you can do the unlocks, but if you're not doing something that's actually in the city, it makes sense to get a little bit of rep, but not a ton.
Yeah. As long as you're in the city, I'm fine. I just don't want to be like in the Grand Exchange in Varrock and getting random rep. Like that just seems silly to me. So, but
Yeah.
and it seems silly for a reason because I was misinterpreting it.
Just go to the GE inside Metaphos.
Well, point being is like maybe you don't have a desire to use Metaphos. Maybe you don't even know it exists. I'm sure there are people out there that do somehow have managed to remain oblivious this entire time. Like you'd be surprised. Someone had a Hazelmere signet ring in their bank. Okay, it's possible there are people out there who don't know that that Metaphos was coming out. Let's talk city quests real quick. I have not done a city quest, aka fetch quest. It says there are currently plans to improve city quests. That's not a big surprise. Like they sound very hollow and kind of. Again, fetch questy. They're going to improve locating, item requirements, and rewards. Item counts, such as seeds, may need to be adjusted. I believe they already made one adjustment from like 1,000 seeds to 100 because of Grand Exchange buy limits.
Yeah, it's
I believe
important to remember.
I believe that was
This,
for the Sun Choke, wasn't it?
Yeah.
this
and,
stream was on Tuesday, and we have a hot fix document from the day, so they've already implemented a lot of
Some
the
of
stuff
these fixes.
they're talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try to not bring that up then. All right, so additional city quests will generally spawn every hour after completion. Now, I assume, and I've never done a city quest, but I assume you would know a city quest by the icon over the NPC's head?
Yeah, I haven't done one either, but I believe that's how it works.
Yeah, I've seen a few icons around, but I've just ignored them, which may not be the best.
I'd only just started doing the Crocodile Tears one.
Yeah, I have 2 quests to do, which means I have a stream to do. I was waiting to unlock Armed Man in the North, which I unlocked last night. So I'll be
Did you finish
doing...
the Do No Evil quest, by the way?
Not yet. I will, though, eventually. If Do No
Eventually.
Evil... Alright, here's the deal. If Do No Evil is a requirement to complete the top-tier quest in this line of quests that I'm trying to unlock, then Do No Evil will get done. If Do No Evil is not a requirement for those quests, I'm going to do No Evil after I finish this new quest line, because I think people want to see the new quests more than they want to see, like, an 8-year-old quest. So, my plan is to do
Pretty
all
sure
that.
it's a
all
requirement
too.
for Fight Club, if I remember.
If it is a
correctly.
requirement for Fight Club, and it should be, then I'll probably do them together. Like, I'll do... I'll unlock Fight Club first, then I'll do No Evil and lead that into Fight Club if I haven't gone insane from No Evil, which I think I can handle with the proper amount of medication. We'll get through it.
I just reading a comment here before we go.
Yeah.
Just reading a comment here from Sarah. It's pointless to do city quests until the patch is on Monday.
That's good to know.
That gives me a good segue here, because originally Mod Shawnee was scheduled to do a patch teasers today. It's not happening today, but he's gonna put a text together. So
Cool.
there's
So there will
no
be a
stream
document
about
at
patch
some point?
teasers. Yes.
Cool.
It'll be. I'd imagine it'll be on Reddit for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, we may not be we may miss, depending on when they release the document, we may or may not get to it on today's show, because they like to release that stuff around like noon my time, which is about when we wrap up. So we'll
We've also
try.
got a jam-packed show today. So
We have a
fitting-
lot. Yeah.
Fitting stuff in is gonna be hard, I'd say.
So let's continue on to Shifting Tombs here. A brief overview of them. So groups are capable of obtaining up to 8,000 reputation per hour. I can confirm that. I was getting a solid like 8k reputation per hour. Optimal reputation rates are balanced at around 6k an hour. There are reputation penalties if you receive 0 in a category in Shifting Tombs, of course. So, neglecting to complete objectives goes against you, as you would think. Go ahead.
Early on, there were some people who were claiming about 15k, but it turns out calculations were messed up there. It looks like if you're min-maxing, you can get 10k an hour from
I'd believe
Shifting
it.
Tombs.
I'd believe
it. So it's not like a huge bonus. Yeah, we were securing around 8k with 5 people rather easily. But yeah, if you got everybody has bladed dive and everybody's super good at searching, you can get up to 10. Which, I mean, in my opinion, it's also a lot of work and takes out a lot of the fun. But there's some people who enjoy that side of the game.
Sure. I mean, I enjoy shifting tombs. I don't think I would min-max it to that level. I like using my surge efficiency, but I'm not going to go play a bunch of Shattered Worlds, unlock Bladed Dive, just to get better at shifting tombs, right? I'm going to unlock that Bladed Dive because I want to use it for a lot of things. I would love to have that skill. I'm waiting for them to improve Shattered Worlds, which I think is going to happen in a TAP project at some point in time this year, if we're lucky.
I just want to mention regarding shifting tombs, I believe there was a fix on it yesterday. That,
okay, any fixes are going to be talked about in the fix document coming up.
Yeah, I know, but while we're talking about shifting tombs, okay?
Please don't bring up any fixes if they're in the document, though.
All right, on day one, people were saying that you can't solo shifting tombs, all right? You can. I have done it.
Yeah, I did it plenty of times.
Yeah, so you have done it too, yeah. Because I was getting...
There's a live stream of me doing it.
I think Stormsmith was saying that you can't do it solo. You can.
Yeah, he was. He's just really bad at it.
No, you can do it. I mean, like Mage said, this is covered later. But real quick, you can do it. It's just you can't do most of them. Like that's the problem. Like about 80% of them you can't do. Sure, there are like 20% of solo times that you could succeed, but most of them you cannot do. Like say you get 6 sarcophagi as a solo player, like you're not going to be able to complete that. That was the problem. But yeah.
And if you get a shifting tomb full of mining ore, oh my god. I had that one time, man, I nearly raged. I spent 3 minutes just trying to carve through the bloody ore.
I know, that can be really, like, annoying. You have to be really strategic about those types of things if you don't want to get held up in a shifting tomb. Like, you really got to make sure you're using your Kamehameha waves properly, otherwise you can really screw yourself solo. And again, you can also screw yourself in a group if everyone fires off their Kamehameha on one single rock. You're all going to end up mining there for, like, a minute, and that's a real problem. I just pulled F6 into the chat
technique. I like to call it the reversey technique. You know, have you ever played reversey?
No, I have not.
Oh damn!
I just pulled FS6 into the chat. Or Romeo rather. If you'd rather be referred to as your in-game name. Is your mic working properly, sir?
Yeah, I put it on push to talk for you guys here because my friend has an alarm that likes to go off on surprise.
Nice, I appreciate that. Cool. So
it'd be funny if he starts to talk and it goes off.
We're talking shifting tombs at the moment. You probably noticed we have done a few shifting tombs together, Romeo and I. It was a good time, I think.
Oh Mage, you brought me in at this time for shifting tombs. I've gotten all of my reputation in Menaphos from shifting tombs, and I'm actually just starting the Fight Club quest.
Oh yeah, cool. No spoilers, but that's really awesome. So you're at tier 10 overall then?
Tier 9 overall for
Tier 9
quest.
overall. Hey, you're way ahead of me. Tier 9. I am currently at tier 6 overall, so I got a long way to go. But nice, you've been really plowing through that rep.
Oh yeah, when you told me to get off yesterday, and I probably stayed on till several hours later. I actually I passed out like 11 hours ago.
You were the poster child for unhealthy gameplay, I have to say.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I woke up like an hour ago, so I guess I fell asleep 11 hours ago. I don't remember going to bed.
Oh, gosh.
And woke up 10 hours later, and I'm working on the quest now.
Sentinel says you can rarely do it 100%. That's the problem with solo tombs. I have to say, 4 out of 5 times I have been able to do a solo shifting tomb. Like, very rarely do I fail a solo shifting tomb. Now that I've said that, if I go do a bunch of solo shifting tombs, maybe I'll fail them. I don't know. Have they changed anything?
They've been hot fixed now.
So have they made them harder?
No, they've made them easier.
Oh, okay. So I definitely won't fail them.
That's what I've been trying to say. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
But you told me to hang on.
Yeah, okay. So there's also some gift offerings. You can gain a small amount via a Menaphyte gift offering. You can also gain a large one as well. They have medium and larges, but I believe those require the Luck of the Dwarves. And you can turn off gift offerings if you want for reputation, or open them for additional loot. And the loot seems to be mostly not good, from what I've seen. But maybe
loot has been crap, man.
Yeah.
What could be more rewarding than a pot of cream?
I have something to say on that. I didn't know until like 15 offerings in that you could turn them in for reputation.
Oh. Yeah.
I noticed that I got like at least anywhere from 80 to 100k in coins in addition to any of the items that you get, and the items are pretty terrible.
Okay, I didn't notice the
But
coins.
normally,
if there's
yeah,
at least like 80k coins, then that's more reasonable. I was focused on like the goat horn dust. Like what? Anyway, so yes, you can turn those in for
That's what I thought at first.
or get the crappy loot. But apparently there's coins, so that makes them less crappy. Other information here. Library entries will continue to come out later into the month. City events are random throughout the city once they're unlocked. They should take 35 to 45 hours to unlock the Fight Club quest. So how do you feel about that? So this it says about 45 hours. Do you feel that is about the amount of time you've put into this to get there? Or do you feel like it's been less or more?
I have to say, yesterday I did a lot of my grinding because I think I was almost tier 8, and I went from tier 8 to tier 9 yesterday. I would look down at my clock. It was like, I think 6 in the morning when I started, and then I looked down again. It was like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and I even asked my group, hey, what the heck happened? Where did all the time go? And I didn't notice most of the time fly by.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, right? Like that, I think that's a testament to the enjoyability of the minigame. Or are you just the type of person to get hyper focused on things like that? Like, were you having fun, or not? Like,
I have to say, Shifting Tombs has to be, in my opinion, the best minigame that's been released into RuneScape in a long time. Some people will differ, but
I would say,
I mean,
yeah, it would.
I'm not sure.
It would be interesting to put that on the minigame spotlight. Mainly because it's so popular, and I feel like it doesn't need the help of the minigame spotlight right now. Not to say that it won't eventually. But this game is as fun, in my opinion, as Heist was when it was released, and I just hope that it has more staying power than Heist does, and I think it will, because of the need to get the rep up. But then it's like, what happens after everyone's gotten their rep up? What happens to this minigame?
Not to derail, but we have an open discussion on that after we get through this topic. So I say we should probably save a lot of the comments for that.
Hold our tongues on that then for now, and let me just wrap up the other section here. Let's see. So may make introduction cutscene replayable, and there still are a few other Easter eggs and secrets hidden throughout Metaphos that players have not found yet.
So there is something I want to say. Like we talked about the library right before this and how the books aren't in it. And there's people who have been flipping out like, I thought you got rid of batch content, Jagex, and I feel like people have a severe misunderstanding of like what batch content actually is in comparison to something like Metaphos. Like I would say at least 90% of what Metaphos is out right now. That doesn't mean they can't keep small things for release later and to keep our interest for the next 3 months. Like we should get small updates related to Metaphos for the next 3 months. That's how it should be. But we're not getting like half a city and then another half in
you can walk through this whole city and it feels complete. Unlike when Prifddinas came out, there was literally half the city missing and it was just a cliff halfway. You'd be walking around and like it just ended, and it ended abruptly, and that was just understood that they would finish the other half. Like this is a complete whole project. It is done. It has a complete feature complete. It's got a reputation system. It has its own mini game. Like it's got its own quest line. It is a complete project. Whereas if this was in batches, I think you would have maybe saw the city in the first batch, the quests and the reputation in the second batch. Like you'd be seeing it more released in that line.
I think we might have even just like if they had done batch, it probably just would have been 2 districts. Probably would have gotten like worker district and merchant district.
2 districts first month and then 2 districts next month or something.
That's also a possibility. Yeah, if they could have just slashed the city and given us like 2 sets of districts as well. So I mean, that's what it looks like when you're in a batching system. Like, I'll make the joke of like, these are just larger batches, but I mean, every update is just a lot. Like, it's a straw man argument. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. It's like every thing can technically be considered a larger batch but like that's not the point. That's obviously not the point.
I mean, especially like you can look at something like World of Warcraft. It's like they release an expansion, but they still do point releases every 3 months and add new dungeons and new raids. Like that's how you keep it. If you release literally, if you're like, okay, here's our update for the next 3 months and then just stopped, or in like the case of WoW, here's the content for the next 3 years of World of Warcraft. See you in 3 years. Like your player base retention would be terrible because people would tear through it and then get bored.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think World of Warcraft learned that in their early days. And it's just something RuneScape never had to learn. RuneScape had to learn how to manage expectations of weekly releases, whereas I think World of Warcraft went down another path, but they both kind of came to a similar realization that updating your game is an important thing. You don't have to update it with massive updates every single week, but you also should not update so infrequently that the massive updates are once a year. That also is, you'll lose players because of that. Like, yeah, quarterly is a really good retention rate. Like, that's a really good way to kind of keep people coming back, is to release things quarterly. So hopefully we'll kind of see more of that. I think the first expansion has gone well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well the other expansions look, as far as, like, are they as feature complete as the first one? Are they as meaningful as the first one? You know, that's the types of things that we have to take into consideration. And with that, I'll continue on to how features, speaking of feature complete. So cape requirements. The list will come in-game in the coming month, and the Slayer Codex will be trimmed completionist requirement. There are still others that are not mentioned at the moment. They have some tips and tricks listed here as well. Fast favorite factions by right-clicking on the Menaphos icon. I didn't know that for like the entire first day. That is a fantastic little thing. You can actually just right-click on the icon and click Set as Active, and then you don't have to actually open up the interface. So if you
didn't know that until right now.
Yeah, I didn't like. I did a PSA in our Discord because of that, and I felt silly because I didn't know that for like the first couple of days. So I don't feel bad because I don't know why I would have even thought to do that, but that is so easily intuitive. Like, I don't think of RuneScape as being intuitive, so I don't think to right-click things like that, thinking that there's going to be an option there for me. So there you go. Yeah.
I don't think that was there the first day. I have to say I don't honestly believe that, because I right-click on everything, and I even right-clicked on the Menaphos icon on the first day, and I swear they all had the open and cancel.
Interesting.
I mean, it wasn't listed in hotfixes, so I'm pretty sure it was there.
Yeah, I can't personally say one way or another because I didn't right-click on it at all, but that is evidence that it wasn't added, is that it's, yeah, I guess not listed in hotfixes, but a lot of people missed it, so there you go. Crystallized Arcadia trees are really great experience. Arcadia logs are a really good source for simple parts and invention. Tier 4 district reputation. Make teletabs to the factions for Slayer Dungeon and Shifting Tombs. You can talk to Erlich, the camel, to locate your city quests. And they have some reasoning for certain decisions. The reputation system was added to prevent people from completing content too quickly. We want players to spend more time enjoying their way through their content rather than blazing through it. Can't crystallize.
The way I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing, but it's it's still time gated, which is, I think, not a bad idea. Like, I appreciate the grind. A lot of people don't appreciate the grind. I personally do.
I think there's this problem where people just want to rush through and get their comp requirements done. I mean, I think it's part of why I argue that in some ways stuff like comp is potentially unhealthy for the game with the rush mentality that it encourages in gameplay. And it's just like, I mean, I think, we have an open discussion on this too, so I don't want to go too deep, but sure. Like, this is why we have an amnesty in some ways, is so people don't feel a need to rush. And on some level, I think the amnesty failed because people are still trying to rush, even though you have 3 months to claim your cape. Like, calm down, you're not in a hurry.
Yeah, and I thought the amnesty would help with that, and we'll get to that when we get to that specific discussion for sure, because I think we all have opinions on the amnesty for sure. Let's see here. So it also says can't crystallize content or sandstone because it's a mineral source. We don't want to endanger high-level mining content. Skills and activities within factions aren't balanced between each other. This is why we will allow you to gain Imperial reputation in the Port District. That's a good reasoning for that. Provides more choice over what you want to do. So that's a great thing. And I was initially afraid that this was going to be locked, and you'd have to go to the Ports District to get ports, to Imperial to get Imperial. I like that you can just align yourself and do whatever you want. Give you the free. That's true RuneScape freedom, that they've always let your character kind of do what your character wants to make its way through the game, and I appreciate having the choice of how I want to progress in the reputation in Menaphos. It's a big plus in my book. Finally here, some other issues the matter mentioned. High scores were reverted due to an issue with how players are listed is going to be fixed. There are plans to fix clue scrolls that are located in water. Portables can't be placed on the docks due to technical reasons at the moment, and that may remain that way.
What kind of technical reasons could that be?
I believe it's like a height mapping issue or something. The model, apparently the way the docks are modeled, they would have to completely redo them the way that portables are placed on the world. So that tells me that there might be an issue with like height mapping and where the object would pop up due to the way they did height in this. Because they have a lot of multiple height map areas here. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, but I could be completely wrong. So
maybe they just don't want your portables to get wet.
You're right. See, that would have been the fun answer that they could have said that nobody would have accepted.
Where's Mod Raven when we need him? He would have been perfect to say that.
Yeah, like, see, that would have been like the old, like if Andrew was still in control, instead of getting a real answer, that's what he'd always role play and be like, say stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. See, nowadays, anytime they say something like that, it just gets a Reddit post of someone yelling at them for saying something like that. So it's hard for them to be cheeky anymore. People just get pissed off at it.
That stuff. I love it so much.
I love it too.
I love it too. It's just you have to, like, I don't know, is it worth them having the top post on Reddit be like, Jagex, why can't you just be serious about stuff?
Because it's a game. Because this is literally a game.
Panic sell portables.
Yeah, it's like when Modtimba made that drop your coal joke and everybody lost their shit. It was a freaking joke. Like, calm down, people. It's a 15-year-old object. It's okay if it's useless now.
All right, let's continue on here with some Slayer content. I know you're all excited. I'm sad we don't have Pern here. He's been salivating over the new Slayer content for so long, and he's not here to talk about how much he loves it or how disappointed he is. So let's see, Slayer content. So we have a Slayer dungeon, yeah.
As far as like the Slayer content goes, the community has been, I'd say, pretty much split. Like half the people love it and half the people hate it. So it's probably a good update.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, if it's a 50-50 split, then that's generally a good update. So Slayer dungeon. When you loot the chest, when the loot chest is toggled off, there's a 20% chance of doubling your loot. That's kind of cool. The loot chest only has 30 slots due to a technical limitation. When the chest exceeds those slots, items will drop on the ground. Loot drops may have been bounced around people who are too good and may adjust them. That's interesting. So they're saying that they think their playtesters were better than the average player, it sounds like, by far, and they might need to adjust drops. Slayer boss as well. A solo boss called the Magister. Location is behind the gates in the Sophanum Slayer dungeon. Requirement will be 115 Slayer. It will be boostable, and it will require one key.
Damn.
The duration, the average is about a 2 to 3 minute fight. So I assume if you're good. So if you're average, it's probably like a 5 to 6 minute fight. If you're bad, it could be 5 to 10 minutes. Who knows? Combat, all three styles work against him, but it's a DPS race. Take power gear and your best weapons. And
this is for Magister.
Yep. And the Magister is manipulating souls near the underworld. That's the lore behind him. So that's cool. There's that, I guess.
Wasn't this the same soul? Wasn't this the same souls from that Halloween event a couple of years ago?
I don't know if there's any relation tied to that.
I mean, yeah, there is. If you go down to the Slayer dungeon where the Magister entrance is, it is very much reminiscent of that Halloween event.
So
and where it took
borrowed
place.
assets or linked lore?
Linked lore, like I think they might have borrowed like the base trailer, but they definitely updated the asset to make it fit into the dungeon that's actually
that's
there.
Good to know. That's good to hear, rather.
But it's definitely like that event was taking place at the entrance to the underworld, where a masket was like popping through the door every once in a while. I think it's my memory of it, and this is you're gonna go through that door to the underworld to fight the magistrates. So that's how they're tying it together.
I like Sarah's comment. Take your best gear and weapons. A Jagex lure. Jagex is luring people into the wilderness once again. The wilderness of the new Slayer monster. So the Order of the Slayers is the next thing on the list here. The Slayer Codex contains 146 entries. Rate of obtaining souls is dependent upon the Slayer level required compared to your own. Low-level Slayer creatures' souls will be much easier to obtain. Only 5 Slayer creature spawns per room to keep the main location as the best location.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
in some ways disappointing to me. Like, I'm not sure how much the Slayer dungeon as an update is going to be used. Like,
yeah.
I think the one monster that I've so far been able to think of that would be super useful for is Ripper Demons, because having fewer Ripper Demons in a room is actually useful. So
Yeah.
making one room that just has 2 Rippers in it, so you're never waiting for a respawn, but you don't have to deal with a million of them, it will be great.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like stuff like I wish that this update had kind of been focused on kind of helping out the packed areas, like abyssal demons that are always packed on top of the Slayer tower. It would have been nice if they had given a separate place to train that, because something to remember is it requires 99 Slayer just to start this process. So it's not like everybody's going to be hiding in their own dungeon. You have to get 99 and then unlock the monsters you want. Like, it's a crap ton of work.
It sounds like a crap ton of work. People were referring to this as like the Pokemon of RuneScape. You got to go around and collect them all, and then you can put them in your dungeon if you want. Which is
the
Great.
collecting part sounds
That's
super fun.
fantastic.
It's just
Use a papaya
it's just
to
unfortunate
catch
to me
'em.
that the dungeon itself is gonna not be super useful.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not someone who fights multi-combat, like if you're not someone who min-maxes Slayer, then it will be useful to you for sure. But if you're someone who wants to min-max Slayer, that's
I just want to
unfortunately
fill
where the
like
usefulness is gonna
800
fall out.
rooms with all Edamu, but I want to be able to fight them off task. That's all I want.
I love that idea, man.
To keep
Not off the Edamu, but I mean, personalize your own Slayer.
it
Slayer
sounds
room.
fun, like, but for me it would be more of a zoo than like anything else. Like, I would just be collecting them to have them, not to fight them. Like,
Do not feed the animal.
yeah, please do
I
not feed the
think
steel dragons.
Sarah
I
in
think I feel
chat,
the same way there.
Sarah is asking if Slayer dummies have been updated. They are not going to be updated in the past 99. There's no treasure hunter thing that takes advantage of any skill level past 99. And Jagex has said they're not going to be changing that anytime soon.
Ooh.
So all treasure hunter stuff stops at 99, and that's their plan, at least for the foreseeable future.
That's good to know. And of course, speaking of payments, payment cost to kill creatures is going to persist in your personal dungeon. So creatures like gemstone dragons will still require gemstones, etc. And finally, rewards. Teleport.
And no lava strike worms.
No lava strike worms. No wall beasts either for all you crazy wall beast fanatics out there. I know people probably care more about the lava strike worms than the wall beasts, but hey, all monsters are created equal if you ask me. Go ahead.
And
Yeah,
the lava strike worms is good because, I mean, if they put them in there, it would
Kill the
potentially
wilderness.
well, it would kill their drop value.
Yeah.
Like the reason that Searing Hash, I think it is, that they drop is worth so much is
Yeah.
because it's good XP and because it's so
hard to
rare
farm,
into
yeah.
the game.
Harley, you'd probably put a Raxor in there.
That'd be awesome. Imagine if you could put like Reaper bosses in there. That's the next level. Come back in 2025 when we have the Reaper dungeon. Oh, that'll be intense. Let's see here. So rewards again. Teleport to your Slayer dungeon at entry 50. The store. Do I want to give away rewards? All the rewards. There's only a few rewards here. I'm assuming this is for Slayer. But I guess it's fine. The Story of the Order. Mural unlocks at entries 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, and 110. And you can get a 1% XP boost, 5 in total, in Slayer at entries 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. And finally, Mask of Dust is not doubling corrupted Dust Devil drops as a bug. They're looking into that. Dark Beast adjustments. Fixed a copy and paste oversight with the Protection Prayer. Added a larger cooldown between special attacks of Elite Dark Beasts. We forgot to revert the Slayer buff of Dark Beasts and are looking into it. Prayer changes will stay the same, but the max hit will go back down.
Yeah,
So
it sounds like that requires a cold restart, so that's probably going to happen on Monday, I
Yeah.
think, from what they've said. And as far as the Slayer creatures, specifically the new ones, I kind of really enjoy how they took existing creatures, like we have corrupted Dust Devils, I think
yeah.
it is, and we have like corrupted Cowfight. We can't think what they're called, Guardians, which Mage made a really good joke about on Reddit.
Oh, he got 100 upvotes. I'm so proud of myself. My first OC.
But I really like that because it actually has made a lot of Slayer masks that were essentially useless actually useful. So it makes Shattered Worlds kind of worth doing a little bit more, or if you already have those masks, they're useful. And the other thing it does as well is it makes it so you have a better chance to get those tasks, because we were all thinking that the waiting was going to be, there's only 2 new tasks, but technically since you can get a Kalphite task and use it there, or you can get a corrupted task and use it there, it kind of gives you multiple ways to be in that dungeon, making it so that you're going there more often than you would be if it was all brand new monsters.
That's pretty great. Yeah, that's a really great way of basically giving you options to fight. I like that a lot. It's like, and if you're on the lower end, you go fight the regular ones. If you're on the higher end, well, then you have that option to take a little bit of more challenge, risk reward, if there is any. I don't know how difficult these corrupted monsters really are, but it's nice to see it kind of go up as far as the options you have available to you. So I'm happy to hear that.
They definitely, well, at least my understanding is they didn't make anything super hard, not close to the Elite Slayer mobs that came out a couple years ago, which kind of makes me sad, but is also fair, because I think the way the community reacted to those monsters kind of points that a lot of people don't like them.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like those. I mean, I haven't really even tried them, to be honest with you, so there you go. Shall we talk about the hotfixes real quick, as well as the issues that are still on the table?
I have a small issue.
Okay. Is it on the list?
Frozen.
Oh, that's... Let me go through the hotfixes. There's a lot of hotfixes here. I will read them for you. Stand by. Re-added the Choleric Imp to near the Fire Altar for the Imp Catcher quest. Re-added Rolomia for the Sliskius Endgame quest. Players can now continue with dealing with Scabrous quest by clicking on a nearby ladder to trigger the relevant cutscene. The Krondys Dowsing Rod and Crocodile Tears now works once more. Speaking with random quest NPCs under certain rare circumstances no longer causes a game crash. Players can now use the shortcut expected in the Sophonim Slayer dungeon. When a player completes a golden path, players no longer will see a world broadcast. However, if they are friends with that player, they will get a friend broadcast.
That was really cool when my name got up on that list.
Is that the first global broadcast you've had, DX?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was, because Dragon Pickaxes didn't count when I got that drop from the Chaos Dwarga.
Sorry about that, I unplugged myself there. What did you say?
You remember the Chaos Dwargas in the Chaos Battlefield?
Yeah.
They dropped the dragon. They dropped Dragon Pickaxes.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, I would have thought you would have gotten a global message for their drops, but I never.
It's friend drop, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, I did get a global broadcast message, so at least I'm in the running for that competition.
Good on you. The Desert Goat random quests now increments when they're killed. Players will no longer receive a message saying that they have no keys to fight the Magister when going through the boss portal. Queuing Threshold and Ultimate abilities in certain situations no longer halts Revolution until the queued ability is triggered. Added dialogue to Conius to allow one-way passage to Sophonim for players who have completed Contact. Teleporting to the Imperial or Merchant districts in Menaphos using the journal no longer causes script crashes. Moved the Greatstone Coordinate to an accessible location when dying to a Camel Warrior. NXT fixed a rare case of exits disappearing in Shifting Tombs and Dungeoneering. Fixed the issue with strange artifacts when logging from the lobby or hopping worlds. Altered the coordinates of 10 elite scan or compass clues to no longer be in the river or desert. Hassan will now give the easy desert task set after moving to Menaphos. Players can now speak to a penguin at the relevant Back to the Freezer quest state to enter their penguin suit in the desert. Completing the over 256 Shifting Tombs now no longer sets your number of tombs completed to 0. Accounts affected will have these achievements restored in due time. City quest, which changed also. NPCs may initially ask for 1,000 seeds, but will change the next time you speak to them. A number of City Quest tasks have been made friendlier for Ironman characters, and Shifting Tombs has been updated to be more solo-friendly with a cap on the number of sarcophaguses that can spawn in solo. So there you go for that. Known issues currently include the bankers in the underground Sophinim Bank used an old model. This is currently in the QA process. The Slayer Creature Kills table is cutting off a few entries, such as Spiritual Mages, Terror Dogs, Tormented Demons, and Warped Tortoises. Tale of the Emasculate, Cronus, Het, and Jack of Spades music tracks will now be unlocked after the respective quest has been completed. This is currently in the QA process. Dark Beast's max hit is currently 1080. This will be changed to 600 in a future update. City quests should give more reputation. With a future update, they give 20 times more reputation on completion and will retroactively give players the extra reputation on any city quests completed prior to the update. There's a chance that...
That's good to know. So if you want to do... You could knock out city quests now and you will get the...
Retroactively,
rep that you're missing. So I would say it is worth doing city quests today. It won't be worth it for today, but you can log in on Monday and get 100k X or probably not 100k.
Just be careful.
A crap ton dumped.
Like do the math. They're saying 20 times. So like if you know you're having 20 times that coming to you, don't accidentally get a bunch of rep and then have more than you need to max and then write an angry post on Reddit that will inevitably get bumped up to the front page just because everyone bumps rant threads on Reddit, it seems. But yeah, be careful of that. Do the math before you do a bunch of city quests and then go back and AFK fish or something. Because you're going to get a dump of rep next week. Let's see. There's a chance that 3 sandstone rocks can be collapsed at the same time. This is fixed in our development stream. The quest completed panel for Krondus quest shows 2 relics of Krondus. This is a duplicate reference and is fixed and currently in the QA process. Players have to pay a fee for the chest in the Slayer dungeon if they die anywhere in the game. This is currently in the QA process. The Soul Talisman is unable to be traded on the Grand Exchange. This is currently in the QA process. The following typos are also known. I'm not going to bother reading those because that would be just homophones. Implings fly into walls. The warning message when attacking desert mining camp guards. Odd pathing when running past Raja the Mammoth. Some music tracks that have a hint which say the Triss track unlocks default info. Polishing perk doesn't work on Menaphos fish. Unable to select an active faction after selecting a faction in a specific tab. Certain NPCs and locations disappearing after completion of Armen in the north. The Mast of Dust isn't giving bonuses at Corrupted Dust Devils. Well, there you go. Those are all known issues, as well as some of the things that have already been hotfixed.
There was one bug that I remember seeing on Reddit. I don't know if it's there now, but I was seeing people being able to hit demon flash mobs from within the Menaphos gate.
Yep, that is a current problem.
Wow.
There is the gate itself does not act as a barrier to combat at the moment. It just acts as a physical walking barrier. So it's akin more to like a river opposed to an actual wall. Like they've probably zoned it wrong or something. I don't know. Speaking of hotfixes and known issues, why don't we move into our first open discussion? Yeah.
Before we start this, I actually just realized that I didn't add this as an open discussion, but I'm kind of wondering if it might be worth just going around and getting everybody's overall thoughts on Menaphos.
We can do that.
I since I suggested, I will start it off just by saying that I am so happy that they actually reworked the desert. Doing the initial quest when you come into Menaphos, which I won't spoil because the intro is super cool, and if you haven't done it yet, like just go do Jack of Spades because it's such a fun intro to the city. But just flying over the desert and being like, holy shit, the river is actually a river now instead of a little lake. Yeah, and a little stream, and the fact that they actually reworked the whole desert, it looks so good. And then you come to Menaphos and you see like the pinnacle of that whole rework, and I'm so happy that they actually reworked everything instead of just giving us Menaphos.
Sure. Yeah, I'm glad that they reworked it as well. I mean, everything about Menaphos is beautiful. Despite the fact that it's not a high-level city, I find myself intrigued with it and compelled to do the content. I'm not disappointed in the content. I think it's good content, and it's good mid-level content. It's a very solid addition to the game, in my opinion. I mean, if I had to rate it, I'd probably rate this at 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm totally in love with how it looks. I think the content itself holds weight. A lot of people might disagree with it and call it a grind, but I think what RPG isn't a grind? So, I mean, I like grinds. That's why I play RuneScape. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, This is the content that I was waiting for. Despite the fact that it's not really for my level, the game needed it, and I'm very happy. It's 9 out of 10. What about you?
And guys? I also think it's worth remembering, too, like, It is for our level because if you're willing to do stuff like use crystallize, it turns it into some of the best XP in the game.
If you have the patience, heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's worth remembering that. And I also I don't want to interrupt GX too much, but I do want to say I think Menaphos very like by leaps and bounds replaces Prif as the best looking city in the game. Like I don't even think like Prif is amazing. But like it doesn't even compare to Menaphos. That's how much further Menaphos took it.
They really pushed volumetric lighting on Menaphos. I'll shut up now. DX, it's your turn.
One thing about that Jack of Spades quest, did anybody during one point in that quest wanted to sing that A Whole New World, that song from Aladdin?
On the whole trip there.
I wanted to, and I'm glad they made the reference, because if they didn't, I was going to.
A whole way there.
So DX, have you been spending time in Menaphos since its release?
Oh yeah, I do spend a little bit of time in there. It's the same way I do my quest, a little bit
here, a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm that way. One thing I will rant about is if they've fixed up, or they've changed the agility pyramid and how to access it. If you go up to I think the 3rd or 4th level on the agility pyramid, a bug which I reported 4 or 5 years ago is still there. It changes the whole scene. It changes the whole bloody loading screen to the same bugged one it was before. And
Not really.
And you see a land tear on the right. It's the same bug that I reported. And it's still not fixed yet.
Yeah, it probably has to do with the rendering engine then, I'd guess, if it's still not fixed. That's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, it's graphical, and I think it's graphical and engine and that kind of thing. As far as Menaphos is concerned, I partially agree with Harley, even though it's for mid-levelers. I reckon it's about the same size as Prifddinas. Like, that was the first thing that came to my mind, is that because it's so big and it's scaled up, I think it's actually scaled up better than Prifddinas, to be perfectly honest. It scales up a bit better.
I would say it might be like the same size as Prif, but it has more actual explorable area, because Prif, a lot of it is like, hey, look, you can see the ground below. Like, it's a bunch of platforms, whereas Menaphos is one solid.
Prifddinas feels to me more like a treetop city. Like it's very restricted where you can go because you're suspended in the air up in a mountain.
This
basically.
one has multiple levels.
This feels like a real city that was built from the ground up, and it feels lived in, and it's got staircases, and you got to go up and down. And it's like it feels like I'm playing
library.
It feels more like I'm playing like an RPG where you can get lost easily in this city because of the twists and turns. It feels like a real city. Whereas Prifddinas, it's one giant circle. It's like you can't get lost.
The way I like to look at it, I like the way they did the city very much. I feel like it is the first kind of real city they added into the game
in a long time.
Like as an actual city, and the comment about it being lived in kind of makes sense with the fact that you enter Prifddinas shortly after it's grown, basically, from a crystal. So it wouldn't really be lived in. Menaphos has been built for years. I mean, it's been in the game since forever.
True,
when Sophonem was released. So it has been lived in. We've just never seen it. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of history, way more history than Prifddinas could ever think of. And I do like kind of the way that the city looks compared, like if you ever Arrakis, the low-level city, and it's kind of in ruin, basically.
Sure.
And you go to Menaphos, and it's a bigger city, and it's for those mid-level players. And then Prifddinas is literally a city basically in the sky. It's a bunch of platforms, and so it's for the high-level players, and they're higher than everybody else in the game.
I think that's an interesting way to look at it, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe if something like the early levels person, maybe there's like an underground Prifddinas.
Yes, go live in the Varric sewers. That's where you put all like the super lows in the Varric, so you can't get any lower than underground.
Make it the same size as Prifddinas or something.
I mean, interestingly, I don't know if you guys remember the tutorial Unstable Foundations, where you started in a little dungeon and had to fight that dragon or whatever.
Yeah, vaguely.
I never got to that point because I'd already been a member for like a five or 6 years beforehand.
I've seen videos of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I myself, I've never
like-
really played through it, but I've seen videos of it. And you got to play through it kind of, sort of, like in a twisted way if you've done Beneath Cursed Tides, because that's kind of what that quest is based off of, is like the era of the Unstable Foundations quest, I'm pretty sure.
No, I meant I have like 9 accounts, so I've done every tutorial that's ever been in the game. I've played
That's
all
weird.
of them.
Beneath Cursed Tides, Tutorial Island.
Yeah, it's based off of Tutorial Island.
Yeah, it's just like there's a part in there where you go down and you fight. Yeah, I guess they all feel the same to me. As far as I'm concerned, Jagex hasn't had a good tutorial since Ashdale. Like they've all been pretty just forgettable and just go kill this, collect
Tutorial
this.
Island and RuneScape
Tutorial
2,
Island
that was the
really
best.
good.
Anyway.
I don't think Tutorial Island was actually good. It's just rose-colored
It's just
glasses.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Tutorial Island is terrible, and I'll tell you why. I played through another game that was a fan game that was made by some awesome developers that we've talked about in the past. There was the RuneScape. I'm like blanking on like the name of the project now. It'll come back to me in a second, I'm sure. But Colton is one of the leaders of that. Colton, I can't pronounce his last name either, which is fantastic. But he's hung around and been a supporter of the show for quite some time, and he let me test out his game and whatnot. It was real fun. Runs off the Neverwinter engine, and it's really cool. But they made their own version of Tutorial Island. But I hadn't played Neverwinter in probably like maybe 16 years or so, and I forgot everything about Neverwinter. So they basically took the RuneScape tutorial of old and adapted it to the Neverwinter system, like with the Neverwinter controls and whatnot. But everything else is basically exactly the same, and they did a really good job of replicating everything. That being said, the tutorial was extremely unhelpful in trying to figure out how to play the game. So that's all I have to say. I got lost in the tutorial, so that's not a good tutorial.
Yeah.
I think Tutorial Island worked really well for older RuneScape, but Ashdale is a much better equivalent, like they had built up on, and they made an actual city that no one ever goes to.
Ashdale
And-
is an intro and nothing more. It's a living cutscene is what I refer to that as. Go ahead.
I think Tutorial Island never worked well by itself. I think Tutorial Island worked well once they introduced the guide right after. I forget what that was called, but once you came out and there was that guy standing in Lumpy who you could talk to who would tell you more stuff.
That like
but
sage guy.
Yeah, but like when I came out of Tutorial Island, like I ran around the world and like I was playing in a point where the wilderness wall wasn't up yet and shit like that. So like when Tutorial Island first existed, like you didn't know about stuff like the wilderness, which I would have definitely included with how dangerous that place was and things like that. And so you could just you got lost in the game basically. You left Tutorial Island and then you got lost, and it was fun to do that as a kid, but I think if I was someone like trying to understand this game as an adult, Tutorial Island just would fail. But I think it definitely, if you're someone who has endless time, then I think that type of, the tutorial matters way less if you have a lot of time to dedicate to it. And I did want to say, as far as Prif, being newer, so that's part of why it's not lived in. I mean, I can kind of understand that a little bit, but I honestly think the real reason that Prif isn't lived in is because they tried to fit too much into that city that was skilling
It ended
related.
up just being skilling nodes.
Yeah.
I agree there. I
Everywhere.
agree there. But I feel like it's more of a
Prisoners-
mechanical reason.
Prifdinus feels more like a factory to me than it does a city.
Factory.
I mean, and I think
Like a sweatshop.
in the legacy
Where are
of
the
Prif that
houses?
will live as a mistake though, because like I don't know, like it's just it feels so much more fun to be in Menafos, to see
It
workers
does.
walking around and all that type of stuff. Like to be in an actual city again after being in Prif I've only been in Prif for like a year. I can't imagine coming from being in Prif in 2014. But yeah, it's
As far
just,
as Prif is just the new Ardoin for me. It's it's just the new high level city that I use, like that I've been using, because I've been using it since its release, right? Like it doesn't even phase me anymore. Which is what I wonder, like what will we be saying about Menafos in a few years, right? Like how will we be describing it? I wonder. Like this is what's great about having a podcast is we could go back and re-listen to these same words in 3 years and see if we still feel that way in regards to where it is, there and what came out in, 2023 or whatever. I don't know.
That whole area needed a graphic rework. I'm glad they did. As far as the rating would go, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. Romeo, what are your thoughts? What would you give for Menaphos?
All right. So Menaphos, I was so hyped about, extremely hyped, only because I remember always wanting to go there when I was younger.
Sure. Being
the sister city of Sophonem, I mean, their names are anagrams for one another. So I've always loved the idea of Menaphos being out. And ever since I was young and started like rune crafting and stuff, I always wanted to go to a soul altar, and I wanted to do all these things. And I believed it would be the home of Menaphos. And they talk about the Pharaoh and the Golden City, and so I was super hyped. And it came out, and I have to say it probably met all of my expectations. I think the reputation system is something that's been needed in the game for a very long time. I really am happy that they did the whole, 3-month thing, so people don't have to worry about getting all their shit back. Although, it's been 4 days, and I'm at the tail end of the quest, and I'm going to get my quest cape back here in a minute.
Fair enough. That's pretty good.
But I'm ridiculous, so there's that.
I've taken a pretty laid-back approach, I have to say. Considering it's mid-level content, I haven't really rushed to complete it, but that doesn't mean it's bad, that's for sure.
Well, it's mid-level content, and so I didn't want to stick around here long, because I'm working on getting 99 ranged and several other 99s that I want to knock out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So this has been a little bit of a chore, but I feel like the longer I do something, the more I like it, and then I start to hate it again. So, I thought the reputation system would be a chore, but it made me really take time, because they force you to be here. Even doing Shifting Tombs, you're there for 40 hours or something, I guess. And so I feel like it's had me take a look at things and be like, wow, this city is really good. Because I got on to get my quest cape back when Menaphos was released, and I found out there was 4 quests to do, and I was like, oh god. But going through it, I'm like, I like this because it makes you take the time to appreciate the city and appreciate the story and everything that they make you appreciate it, because there's no way you're going to get the reputation if you're not going to appreciate the city.
Yeah,
I feel like
they make
exactly
you be here, right? Yeah.
Yep. And over time, you'll get bored of one thing, and so you have to do everything that's here really to kind of break it up. I mean, I went from rank 1 to not even rank 2. I probably gained 300 reputation, if that.
On
doing pickpocketing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this update?
I'd say it's probably really close to a 10. It's probably one of the best things I've seen in the game in a long time.
Yeah, I think we're all in pretty much agreement there that this is probably 9.5 out of 10.
And I think it's something that can't be under something that you that is so important about this update is that people are going to see this 10 to 20 hours into their RuneScape membership playing career. And I think that is going to be amazing for player retention. To come to the best city that's been made in RuneScape in a very, very long time. And Prif is still amazing. I love that city. I don't think Menaphos will getting to Prif will still feel just amazing as it does. But just getting to something as good as Menaphos that early in the game, I think will be great for retention of new players, or even players who return and are low or mid levels. Going to Menaphos and discovering that place will do fantastic things for keeping the player base active and growing it.
I agree.
And also, just remember those people that are playing the Menaphos for the first time. The Seers Village is going to get graphically reworked as well pretty soon as well. So that's something that these new people, if they choose to get along their membership, have something to look forward to as well. Across the White Wolf Mountain, which got done up last year, which looks amazing, and they go straight into the Seers Village, which will also look amazing.
I can't wait for the Seers rework later this year. That's going to be great.
I need to know one thing. Sorry for interrupting you there regarding White Wolf Mountain. I haven't been there since it was reworked, and I'm hearing that there's no longer a path. Is this true? Do you have to go through a tunnel now only?
You don't have to, no.
Is there still a path over it?
The only way to scale the mountain is to go through
the mountain.
Not tunnels, but to go through caves in the mountain.
You have to. It's not a direct path anymore. You have to scale the mountain, right? Go through different parts of it and whatnot to get to the other side. It's not just a path
It's not
anymore.
It's not a hill anymore like
Yeah.
it was back in the day.
Well,
Yeah,
I remember there being a path over it and through it, and that was like probably one of my
Yes.
biggest treks of all time was
Yeah.
getting from Taverley to Catherby.
Heck yeah, that's everyone's
But
first
also,
journey.
Catherby also got a graphic rework as well. So
I mean-
Yes, yeah, I saw that. That looks great.
Maybe not anymore, but
yeah, the path. I mean, the trek is still definitely a thing. I mean, I think it feels more like it because I don't know. It's always been a problem in RuneScape. It's like the scale of something just makes no sense. Like
Yeah.
there's this little
Oh, yeah.
tiny anthill of a mountain, and I think the update really fixed that. And
Oh,
something
yeah.
to kind of shift us into the next open discussion here. It's like I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft, as I mentioned at the top of the show. And it's amazing to me how comparable in graphics quality, like the best parts of RuneScape are, to the way World of Warcraft looks. Like they have completely different art styles, but I feel like now with NXT and with stuff like Menafos, you can say like the best parts of RuneScape at this point are pretty damn comparable to what that game. And you know that game is super old at this point too, but they've also upkept those graphics like updated over time. So I think it's amazing. It's amazing to see that. And the next thing we have on here is an open discussion about NXT optimization. And part of the reason I want to discuss this, I guess I'll kind of lay out my thoughts on it here is playing World of Warcraft. It's a game where I can turn the game up to its highest settings and maintain about 30 FPS on it in that game, which is amazing compared to RuneScape, where like RuneScape I have settings, I have some stuff on. Well, actually, I have everything set to medium on RuneScape, just and draw distance at high, just to maintain a 30 FPS. So it's something that I kind of wanted to say, like, you know, what is wrong with the RuneScape client that it takes so many more resources than other comparable games, you know, of its style?
I would assume it's the language that it's coded in initially, and then, yeah, it's the fact that they made the decision to go with Java instead of a language like C or C# or C++. I don't even know if C++ was really an option at the time, but I would assume that's what's made it so much more difficult for them. Like they've rewritten the client, right, which has helped them tremendously as far as the NXT client goes. Like that started it, but the entire game engine itself on the server end is still completely Java based still. And I wonder if the entire game is running on a more efficient system, if they could do more with it, or if they're completely unrelated. Because I'll be honest, that's beyond my scope. Like I wouldn't know.
I remember them saying a while back that they probably could have redone the game completely in C++, but it would have taken them like, what was it, half a year or something, and that's with no updates at all.
Half a
So
year.
it probably could have been done better that way.
That's way less time than it would take. It would take multiple years.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember.
It
exactly
would be
how
like
long they
making a
said.
new game. So it would be like a new game. It would take at least
It
2
took
years,
them-
and that's if they
It
ran
took them
into no
3
problems.
years to make. 3 years. It took them. How long did it take them? I just
You're
read
right,
this
I think
stat. Damn it!
I think it took about that long just to create
To make the
NXT++.
initial
We knew
assets,
about
I
that
believe it
years
took
ago.
3 years. But I could be wrong about that. All I know is that I remember the initial creation of the HD assets for RuneScape took a long time, and they had a full development team, so it would probably take a long time to do it all again. But I don't know. The only thing I can think of is they would have to completely rewrite the engine, I would assume, in order to get like the same level of efficiency that you see with like World of Warcraft and stuff. I don't know.
See, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's
they're just
at this
bad.
point we're just clearly on. I think we're on optimization, and I don't know. To me, playing WoW as I have the past few days has kind of it's something I've said on the show before and thought, but it's kind of nice to get confirmation that I think just the client needs better optimization. Not even necessarily on the server side, but just NXT should probably still be labeled a beta. And maybe in 2-3 years we'll have gotten the performance out of NXT that we should be. But I think it's important for people to keep in mind. A lot of times you'll see someone will post about the fact that they're having lag issues or something, and people are like, "Well, just buy a new computer, you idiot!"
Yeah.
And it's
my bad. I forgot that I could just go down to the computer farm and pick up a new computer.
Yeah, they're free. You know, the computers are just up for adoption. They're free to grab. It's important to remember
it's your
that, like,
right as a human being to have a computer.
Even if you have a $3,000 computer running RuneScape on Ultra, is a problem. Like, if you haven't watched the latest Jagex live stream, watch that live stream and see how much volumetric lighting kills even their streaming computer.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Like, they added volumetric lighting to the game, and it basically doubles the amount of hardware that you need to actually run RuneScape at an efficient level.
You officially need to use like SLI technology to run RuneScape with volumetric lighting on Ultra and 60 FPS. Like
SLI is like double video card.
Yeah, it's the streamlined interface for AMD has its own thing. I just don't know what it's called off the top of my head, so I went with the Intel version or the NVIDIA version rather. But yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is you now need 2 graphics cards to run NXT with volumetric lighting, and that is unacceptable. Obviously. Ooh,
one thing I hate about the NXT client. One thing I hate about the NXT client is some of the issues that I had beforehand. Say, I could tell you one. I'll give you an example. One in Priptonus when I'm doing that agility course and the Heffen course, the initial stages where I'm supposed to be jumping over the rail and stuff like that, I'm already about 50,000 feet above the air jumping over it, and all I see is a damn shadow of myself jumping it. That's one. And then climbing up to the cathedral, my character disappears inside the cathedral, and my computer is pretty damn advanced because I built this one up myself, but it's pretty, like I said, pretty damn advanced. And then sliding down the bloody cord there at the end, my character disappears until it's on the other side.
Do you have cutscenes turned off?
No, the cutscenes are on, and my character disappears in the bloody scenes.
I don't know what would be going on, because that sounds exactly like what happens when cutscenes are turned off. Because they optimize that to have like crappy looking full screen cutscenes. So if the full screen cutscenes aren't loading, I would double check and make sure that you have them turned on, because that's what I turned them off just because I think the cutscenes are stupid, but I think that's like an engine limitation issue there, where just the engine is not good at dealing with that type of
engine in this game is bad at dealing with any sort of vertical like movement or anything really. If it has multiple height maps, the engine has a hard time dealing with multiple height maps for sure, which is why I think portables don't work in the port district. But anytime you're dealing with people on multiple planes, like that are on the y-axis? I don't freaking know my geometry anymore, but yeah, vertical planes RuneScape seems to have trouble with. And it's been in NXT and Java, and I don't think that's an NXT limitation. I think that's an engine limitation, the whole height mapping thing. But the fact that you're disappearing like that, it could be cutscenes are just turned off, or cutscenes aren't loading for some reason. That could be a whole other bug.
I think your one was like cutscenes aren't loading. Or what I've just checked out my.
You can turn them off, which is why I think they're not loading, because I think you turn them off and forgot.
Where
to
can
be
you turn
honest,
them off?
that's exactly what. Talking to someone at the start, I don't remember who you talked to, but at the start of that course, you can talk to someone and turn off cutscenes.
It's in the gameplay. I think it's in the gameplay section of these settings.
Yeah, generally.
All right, let me have a look at it now. So I just unclicked it. We'll have a look at it and see if it changes. No, it doesn't change. It does not change for me. I'm still 50,000 feet above the sea level.
What did you just unclick?
Yeah, I unclicked.
Wait, what are you talking about?
But what?
I talked about the agility course in NXT.
Which option did you untick is what Harley is asking.
Alright, let me go to it. Oh, good, I can go to it there.
Because I have skip travel cutscenes turned on. Is that what we're talking about?
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No, that's not. It's something completely different. You have to talk to someone at the Prif agility course, and they will turn cutscenes on or off for you. When you turn them off, you get a warning that it's going to cause weird things, like exactly what you're describing.
Interesting.
I don't remember who you talked to there, but there's a person.
Probably the person at the end of the course, I would assume.
All right, I'll talk to that, and I'll redo the lab. All right. So
yeah.
Bear with me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll keep talking. So NXT, I mean, I agree with you, Harley. It should still be labeled as a beta. Because of the performance issues. Like, it's clearly made progress in the past year. There's no doubt about that, but it also has had a lot of snags. Like, we've hit a lot of snags along the way. It's made it really difficult for a lot of people with certain machines, certain classes of machines to basically just not be able to use it, and they've had to either revert or not play RuneScape. And that, to me, does not scream finished product. Like, and if you call it a beta, it's easier to say it's a beta, sorry. But when you have a final product out there, and people who are using Macs are having crazy amounts of problems, and people who are running on the PC are just basically needing to run $1 million hardware to get 60 frames a second, like, why call that a finished product? Like,
Yeah.
Be better than the average game market these days, please.
And especially like if you you could argue that maybe potentially now the NXT client itself should be out of beta, although I would definitely argue against that and say that it should. But especially when they add a new feature like volumetric lighting, which is cool, but is that volumetric lighting? I don't think there's any argument that shouldn't have been called a beta, like when it was released. Like that takes so much damn performance out of your computer that not calling it a beta was just silly.
I agree. Any other thoughts on NXT optimization?
Apart from the volume,
No.
I didn't really know. I didn't really realize that the what do you call it? The volumetric lighting was causing so many issues.
Yeah, it halved my frames, like when I was streaming.
I turned volumetric lighting on low and it drops my frames to like 15. Like I don't even F with it. I mean, same thing with shadows are also terrible. Shadows in NXT take so much performance. Like I think the engine limitations are really being hit with things like shadows and volumetric lighting, where
I'm streaming.
I think I kind
right
of
now,
agree with Mage,
obviously.
where the engine
I have a
can't handle
couple
it.
comments here.
Real quick.
I mean, Mage knows about my computer. Not a good computer. Somehow, I actually get better performance on RuneScape than most things. I don't know how my computer runs RuneScape, and I actually didn't know volumetric lighting was actually a thing until you guys just mentioned it.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
And I guess it's automatically turned off.
Yeah, by default it's off unless you rerun your auto setup and your computer is deemed to be like bleeding edge.
Yeah, because I run my computer on Ultra Graphics for RuneScape.
Yeah, like I have it on Ultra as well. And I mean, you're running ridiculous technology. I don't know how you have it on Ultra and play it on Ultra, but like I have it on Ultra, and I was running into the city, and it was running at probably about 55 frames a second. And it's never perfect. It's RuneScape, but I turned on volumetric lighting onto Ultra, and I can't get above 29 frames a second. Like there's no way. Like right now, I'm not even streaming the game. Like I have a tiny box with the game up, in a tiny little window, and the rest of it is overlay. So it's not like XSplit is like taking a lot of power for my GPU to render this scene. So I can actually even look at XSplit right now. My GPU is currently half in use. 60% of my GPU is being used right now between RuneScape and streaming. So it's not like my GPU is being pegged at 100%. RuneScape is just badly optimized. Like the proof is right there in the pudding. I can see my graphics card not even being fully utilized. So that just proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the NXT client is just nowhere near optimized.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I just turned on volumetric lighting to Ultra, and damn, it looks awesome.
Yeah, doesn't it look great? And I bet you can't move. But
oh, no, I'm running around Menopause right now looking
nice.
at everything.
What is your FPS? I have to know. Please tell me.
Probably garbage, but I don't know.
I need a real
never
number.
tend to get... For all of my computers' history, I don't remember getting much above 30, so let me check.
Yeah, I gotta know. I need a number. Like keep in mind, like this. I believe you mentioned you were running on a Pentium dual-core processor on this machine.
Precisely.
And what was your graphics card? I forget. It was.
It's a AMD Radeon R7 200 series.
So that
I guess is out of date.
So it's an R7 200.
Yeah.
DX. You're an AMD person? Can you tell me roughly where that is series wise? Because my brains said the R7s are a few years old, right?
I'm not even sure if I actually got Specky on this system, so I can check it out.
But
just while we're doing that, I just want to thank Harley for just interrupt, because Harley, I did find the person you're supposed to talk to, the merged creatures over there in the agility course. Most of the cutscenes are now fixed, except for me sliding down the zip line.
Cool.
There. I knew I was right.
Thank you.
I knew I was right.
I didn't
So
doubt
it's
you. I
saying
didn't
on
doubt you.
here-
Just checking.
It's saying my mean is 9, but the only reason my mean is 9 is because when I turned it on, the screen froze for a second because I had to re-render everything. But it's showing my best at 18. but my 18 frames doesn't look like 18 frames.
So you've gotten
Looks more
used
like
to
30
so you've
frames.
gotten used to looking at 18 frames, is what you're telling me.
No,
Gotcha.
no, because I play other games at like I've seen other games render at like 18 frames or 10 frames, and it's terrible.
Keep telling yourself that. Anyway,
Yeah.
We've gone down a too technical of a rabbit. Oh, MageBit unplugged his
There we go. I'm back.
headphones. Welcome back. Let's move on to a less technical open discussion here, which is Shifting Tombs. Just kind of what we did with the Menopause discussion. Let's just get everybody's thoughts on Shifting Tombs. I'll be selfish and start this one off again because I can, and say that I freaking love Shifting Tombs. I wanted to drop an F-bomb there, but I'll try to not swear too much in the show, but just insert F-bomb there instead of the freaking, because it's honestly amazing to me. I haven't enjoyed social content in RuneScape since returning to the game as much as I do with Shifting Tombs. It's something that, like, when I returned in 2015, has felt severely lacking the whole time I have played RuneScape, is actually playing with other people and doing social things, like mini games are dead. I know some people call Shifting Tombs a mini game. I don't know if Jagex classifies it that way, and I don't think I would necessarily classify it that way. It more feels just like social skilling in a way that people are actually going to potentially want to do. I love the fact that there are 9 different things you can earn, 8 different skills you can level and earn GP, which means that it's pretty easy to convince people to go with you because, they can probably be working on one of those 8 skills, or they can be earning money.
Don't forget reputation.
I think that's amazing. Well, yeah,
For now.
Rep is a secondary thing, but sure, if you're trying to comp, then the rep will also get you in there. But I also just think Shifting Tombs is perfectly designed for the RuneScape engine. There's a lot of stuff that I do in this game. Like, one of the reasons I freaking hate Dungeoneering is that some of the stuff in Dungeoneering feels clunky as hell with the RuneScape movement system and stuff like that. And there's some boss mechanics that you can argue just do not work well with the RuneScape movement system. And then you do Shifting Tombs, and you just click at the end of a row, and then as you're running, you can just spam click the urns and destroy them. You don't have to, click all over the place. The sarcophagus are easy to figure out. There should probably be, my one complaint would be that there should be potentially more diversity of puzzles, but I think that would be easy enough to add more puzzles as we go along.
Yeah, I would love to see expansions.
But overall, like, I there's not a single update that's ever come out in my history from being back in the game from 2015 to now that has made me more excited than Shifting Tombs does, just to have that social aspect back in RuneScape and not have it be a bossing thing, right? Like the biggest social thing in RuneScape before Shifting Tombs was bossing, and bossing is great. I love it. I am an all-arounder. But people like Mage, like, I can't convince Mage to boss most of the time because it's just not his thing. And Shifting Tombs is something that I think will be very easy to convince Mage to do, especially because Dungeoneering. He'll finally get 120 Dungeoneering in Shifting Tombs. Like, we all know that's what's going to happen now. All the jokes about Mage not getting 120, I think, those will soon be moot, because I think that's going to happen easily this year just because of Shifting Tombs.
I do have to mention that it is only like 200 to 300k like Dungeoneering XP an hour, so yeah, it could very well happen. It's just going to be slow. It's going to be a slow grind.
Well, yeah, but it's got to be. Well, we can't convince you these dailies or actually dunge floor. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's gonna be a slow grind, but yeah, it's faster than how I was moving, which was not at all.
I also think they designed, like, originally I thought the GP an hour was kind of low, but now that I'm looking at the ways they're doing it, it seems potentially better to me. So the Feathers of Mott are, you get a bunch of those while doing it, and they are also you can also buy them for 1,500 gold, right? But I found out that they high out for 900 gold, which means they will always be more valuable than 900 gold, or right around 900, which I think is a really smart way to give a different way for skillers to also make money. Plus the weapon drop down there's a tier 2 offhand weapon that you can get, which is probably going to be upgradable to a tier 92 weapon from the new boss that's coming out. So I think that will probably make that weapon somewhat valuable, which gives, which I think when all is said and done, you can probably make 3 to 5 mil an hour, depending on your efficiency down there, including stuff like feathers, including rare drops. I think that there's a potential to make that type of money.
Yeah, I'll give you that. If you're gonna go hard and like do it for like 4 to 8 hours straight, I'd be willing to incorporate those, rarer drops into that model. If you're playing for like 30 minutes a day, you're probably not going to see those gains, obviously, but that obviously doesn't apply. I should say at least an hour a day to make it, 3 to 5 million an hour. But yeah,
I can probably pitch chances and stuff because I have completed.
Yeah, everything. You've been playing this like incessantly. So yeah, tell us about your luck / lack of luck. I don't know.
So I have 3 of those tier 82 offhands.
And how many hours roughly? Just give me a rough estimate. How many total hours of Shifting Tombs you think you've played? I know it's hard.
I'd say if it takes about 40 hours of doing tombs to reach max rep, and I probably spent 10 minutes fishing, which I got bubbles while I was doing that 10 minutes of fishing.
But did you get Squeck? Nobody cares about bubbles anymore. It's all about Squeck.
I just went over to the VIP area for 10 minutes, and I got bubbles, and then left. It was an accident.
I don't think I have bubbles. That would be fun.
I don't even have bubbles yet, man.
Do you have Squeck, Mage? Sorry to interrupt.
I do have the squid pet, yes.
Good. Okay, anyways.
So I think I'd probably spent at least, somewhere around 35 at least hours doing Shifting Tombs. And there's times where I was terribly inefficient. There were plenty of games that I lost because, I'd take one for the team and go get the last Sark so everyone else can get out and get their rewards just because I was so high up anyway that I didn't care. So I probably would, probably anywhere from 35 to 40 hours, I think, at least. And I have, let me check my bank. I have 3 of the tier 82 offhands, and I had 6 different skills active for my tombs. And I have 4,992 feathers of mod.
That's pretty nice. Do with that information what you will. I'm not going to do the math right now, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say that backs up Harley's numbers to a reasonable extent.
Definitely. I didn't have any of the gold on except for like 1 or 2 runs because people were saying you can get more rep if you have no skills on, and I tested that and didn't see that as making much of a difference.
Yeah, and of course the numbers I'm talking about are if you have no skills active. You're only going for gold.
If you have skills active, the gold obviously doesn't make sense. This is totally if you're doing double gold.
I think my numbers very clearly match yours when I was just getting the drops and stuff. Because I have rune metrics, so I can see what my gain is and how much money I spend and things like that, and how much I gain. So I can see that, and I think my numbers were on par with yours when I got 2 close drops, but that's because I don't have any gold active. But I know you get about 160,000 experience per hour. It doesn't matter because it splits it across the amount of skills. So if you do 1 skill, you get like 160,000 experience an hour in the skill that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's running it. I think that was when I was running most efficiently because I had I think I made like 6 or 7 friends doing tombs. And so we'll go in together. I'll form groups with them or I find random groups, but I do the most efficient way possible.
Who would have thought they would have incorporated that grouping system into Shifting Tombs?
I really wish they had have improved it if they were going to use it. And like they use it quite often, and it's so clunky. But it's forcing me to learn things about it, and once you know its quirks, it is usable. I'll give them that. It's just really, really unintuitive to use, and I wish they would make it better. But hey, one thing at a time. Let's fix the broken achievement system first. Am I right?
Yeah. Mage, did you ever figure out how to unready a group that's already been sent into the minigame? Because I learned that in there.
I figured out, and maybe there's another way. Tell me if there is. What I do is I go into the grouping interface and I re-queue, and that seems to pull everything out, and then I have to quickly turn off matchmaking before someone joins. Is there a better way?
When you reach that, it actually has a good chance of making somebody else who already has a group the leader of your group.
Yeah, I hate that. Is there a better way to not?
The way you do it is you click on the matchmaking button and then turn off the matchmaking button. It says if you re-enter matchmaking, everyone will be set to unready status.
So yes. So wait, let me follow this again. So basically make sure your matchmaking is off before doing that? Is that what you're saying?
No, you just have to press the matchmaking button twice.
Okay, press the matchmaking.
Doesn't matter. That's what I always do.
So join the queue and then press the matchmaking button twice. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Once you're already, so when you have your group, and you're the leader of the group,
and you want to,
all right, and you've already done it. You've already done a game of Shifting Tombs with your group of 5 or whatever. and say you need another person, your matchmaking normally is on by default, but even if you turn it off, all you have to do is click on matchmaking, and when it's trying to put you into matchmaking, you enable matchmaking. It has to unready everybody in the group.
Okay, so even if the group is completed, it will uncomplete the group?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Even if they've already been teleported to the minigame or whatever. So if you're doing like bossing at God Wars and nobody wants to waste a God Wars teletab, you can teleport a whole group through the group manager to God Wars for free. Then if you guys have to make a group bank run or whatever, you can actually just unready through the whole matchmaking thing as well. Make sure you just turn it back off so no randoms get in, and then you can re-teleport once everyone.
Hear that, everyone complaining about boss portals? Just make friends, and you can have your own boss portals.
Yep.
Anyway, shall we continue on? Any other open discussion topics for Shifting Tombs that we want to talk about? I guess we can talk about. I didn't really talk about if I liked it or not. I guess I can just quickly say the answer to that is yes, obviously. I haven't like an 8-hour live stream that's like 6 hours Shifting Tombs. There you go. Go watch it. It's a good time.
Just before we move on to the next topic, I just want to... Sorry to interrupt. Zenil actually posted earlier on in the live chat that this weekend you can actually get the Ancient Mummy outfit on the Solomon's General Store. Now, that's usually about 240 rune coins, so if you want to get it now before it becomes not free on Monday.
Oh, so it's free for the weekend.
Yep. I just picked it up myself, so thank you very much for the tip-off, Zenil.
Yeah, I'm going to log into Solomon's General Store right now. It's called, which outfit is it? The Mummy outfit?
Ancient Mummy outfit. You'll find it in free items for members.
I'm snagging them right now.
Yeah, so if you watch our live stream in the first hour, like, I don't remember if I think I was doing it via text to Mage, so I might not say it out loud, but Mage is like, hey, want to come do a Shifting Tomb or two, and I'm like, but I'm still exploring. He's like, yeah, we're just gonna do a couple, and then you can go back to exploring. And then 6 hours later, we finally left. So I think that kind of shows how much we were enjoying.
We were having lots of fun in those Shifting Tombs. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good time. We kept we spent the entire day literally playing Shifting Tombs, and then we went and explored the rest of the city because it was
how much rep did you end up getting? How much rep did you end up getting just from that?
From day one, from like the first 6 hours, probably like at least 50,000 reps, 40,000 reps, somewhere around there.
Damn.
And especially, I would especially say it's great. As I can forget all the skills that are there, but the one skill that makes me the happiest is thieving. Thieving is so terrible to train at a low level, and Shifting Tombs just makes it actually bearable.
I can tell you every skill that's there if you want to know.
No, we don't. I don't think we need to list them out. People probably know.
But we've covered that a couple of times.
Yeah. The next open discussion we have here is thoughts on the amnesty now that it is here. And
still stupid.
Okay. Well, I guess I was about to ask what his thoughts were. There we go. What about you,
someone
DX?
who's never had a comp cape. So I should preface that. Go ahead, DX.
I didn't say nothing. I agree. I think the amnesty should stick around for a little while. Okay. Yeah, better. Yes, but the thing is,
why?
How many people rage the fact that they're going to lose their bloody capes and stuff like that?
Why should I care about those people?
But when the fact is that they mentioned that God knows how many
times. It's
a
completionist cape.
yeah. They won't lose it for 3 months. Was it 3 months? I think it was.
Yeah, they have 3 months.
But people were just ignoring it. People were ignoring it, saying they're going to lose it. Well, get over yourselves, man. Give yourself.
Oh no, Dungeoneering is no longer my lowest skill. I just realized. I grabbed a Guthixian.
I
grabbed a Guthixian butterfly, and I was like, "Oh, here's some Dungeoneering XP." And then went into Slayer. I was like, "Oh, dip! I forgot about that."
Oh yeah, one good thing about the Slayer now being 120 is I can go after the Hydrix dragons now because that's my Slayer task.
Yeah, nice.
Without having to make one of those stupid Dragonstone pies or whatever
they are. Stupid. Those were a great update. What are you talking about?
So,
I think they're even better now that 120 is here. So as far as the amnesty goes,
did
for
Romeo
me,
get a shot? Oh, you haven't gotten a shot. Go for it.
I mean, he got to call it stupid just like you. I figured that was.
I'll wait for you.
I figured that was all you had to say. I mean, I think I understand the amnesty more now. I still don't know how I feel about it, but I think just judging the expansion model and the fact that this is probably going to be the future, and they're going to dump basically a lot more comp requirements on us per expansion. Like, usually we get like a large update, and it would maybe be like a sixth of the size of an expansion. That kind of makes me understand the amnesty potentially more. I think they argue a bit that it's because of 120 Slayer, although I feel like amnesty is probably going to stick around after Menaphos, and 120 Slayer was just a way to make people kind of accept it more. So I think I'm a little bit more accepting of it now, although I also think, even though I'm more accepting of it, I don't think I actually had the desired effect that Jagex wished, because people flipped out day one about the requirements to Menaphos, which was a bit silly. And from day one, Jagex is like, hold on, there's stuff you haven't unlocked yet. There's more ways to earn rep. Just give it a second. But people were just losing their shit about about reputation rates and stuff like that, and like saying this is a terrible update, stuff like that. Before we even saw the fullness of what is Menaphos. And I think something I want to add is that I think I think it's I could be wrong about this, but my understanding is that the Master Quest Cape does not get an amnesty for this period, which I could be misunderstanding. But I think that is a bit. If that is true, I think that is a bit silly. I think that if you're going to give an amnesty to the Comp Cape, then you should also be giving an amnesty to the Master Quest Cape as well. Anyways.
I can butt in right here. The reason my issue with amnesty is people keep mentioning comp, but it goes from trimmed comp, Master Quest Cape, and Quest Cape. All of those have amnesty on them. All of them. Because I was still able to, I have regular Quest Cape, and I was able to continue wearing my Quest Cape, and other people can wear their Master Quest Cape, and people
apparently it's been fixed, because the Master Quest Cape day one you couldn't wear.
I saw it on day one. That's how I knew.
I was under the impression that it was only for comp. I did not know.
No, I mean there was Master Quest Cape people I talked to who were not able to wear their Master Quest Capes. So
I was running Tombs and I saw it, so that's why I was kind of
I wonder if it got hotfixed on the first day.
It could have been, but I know that I was asking. I'm like, how are you wearing that? And they're like, oh, we have amnesty for 3 months. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I wanted my Quest Cape back, so I always do quests immediately after they come out, and I could wear my Quest Cape. And so I think it's really dumb because, one, trimmed comp, Master Quest Cape, and Quest Cape, you do not meet the requirements to wear them. You don't get to wear it. It's as simple as that, if you ask me. If you don't meet the requirements, it's the same thing. If you don't meet the requirements to wear Max Cape, you don't wear Max Cape.
Simple as that. That's why I rushed.
Yeah, but if they release four new skills at once,
you lose your Max Cape.
Okay, sure,
but it took me 2 weeks to get my Max Cape back. You give me 4 skills, cool. I'll get my Max Cape back in a couple months.
Yeah, but you also did that with the easiest skill ever released into the game.
It took me 4 days to get my Quest Cape back. 4 days. With the
reputation. And you slept once. Like, I'm sorry, but...
No, excuse me, I slept 3 times.
Okay.
How many of those times that you slept were voluntary, though? That's what I want to know.
2 of them. 2 of them were voluntary. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like I said, I was doing Tombs. I got the reputation for the quest, and I was sitting in my chair trying to psych myself up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the quest, then I'm gonna sleep.
I also don't consider sleep less than like 4 hours. If you have gotten
10 hours, I got 10 hours of sleep.
Okay, all right. I was just wanted to bring it up because some people are like, I got an hour of sleep. That's sleep. No, that's a nap. Naps are good for you.
I get 5 or 6 hours.
Okay, but that's fair enough.
No, I don't know what happened because I was like, I got all my shit ready for the quest. Like, I was fully equipped. My inventory was ready to go, and I went to the bathroom, got a drink, and then it was 5 in the morning, and I was waking up in bed.
Wait a minute, you went to the bathroom to get a drink?
No, I went to the bathroom and then I got a drink.
You had a RuneScape blackout. That's interesting.
I mean, yeah, I completely blacked out, and I woke up and it was 5 in the morning.
I think what Sarah is saying is the case of why they did Amnesty, is that it takes a long time with these expansions to re-achieve it. Like, that's the whole point. Like, sure, you in 4 days got the Quest Cape, the easiest cape of these 3 to get back, and you also essentially no-lifed it, which is not a healthy way to play the game. And I think the whole point of Amnesty is to allow for a healthier way to play the game, which is why I've kind of been, because I was definitely an adamant, like, why the hell is this a thing? Like, this is stupid for up until the update came out, to be honest. You can listen to the old podcast, you can hear me say that. And the reason my tune has somewhat changed is I can see the angle of they're just adding way more stuff to the game in these expansions. And also, they just want people to not feel the need to rush. I think there is still a small subset of those players who are rushing, and to that I say why. Like, you could literally, as Zeno was saying in chat earlier, you could literally just do the Soul Obelisk for 2 months, and you could get there by just doing that as a daily for 2 months. On the live stream, one of the developers said you could just you don't have to, you have 3 months to get your cape achieved. You don't have to play the content. You could just do an hour a day in Menopause and then do whatever the hell else you want to in the game. And people made fun of him for that comment, like an hour a day. Oh, that's going to take 3 months to get the cape back. Yeah, it's going to take 3 months. That's why they gave you the amnesties. So you don't have to rush. Like, if you're rushing,
I just hate the idea that people feel like they have to rush. That's your opinion that you have to. Yeah, no one's telling you to rush. No one's holding a gun to your head. And I understand where you're coming from, Harley. Like, yeah, it's. Jagex shouldn't be maybe they shouldn't be fostering an unhealthy play environment. I also don't think that it's their responsibility because they're not telling you to do that. It's like, oh, this is a completionist cape. It was removed. Like, okay, cool, go get your cape back. Now, it's a race. Like, that's supposed to be fun and competitive, but we've somehow turned it into something that's not fun and competitive.
I agree with you, but I think an important thing in game design is like balancing that stuff, because I wouldn't necessarily lay the fault at their feet, but they also have the ability to hedge that, and I think part of the amnesty is trying to hedge the whole rush to recomp problem. I think part of the issue with the comp specifically is that it's best in slot. I think that motivates a lot of people. If it was purely cosmetic, I think less people would comp, and it might be less of an issue.
I would rather look down that road.
We live in a world where it's best in slot.
Yeah, I would rather look down that road of pulling comp from best in slot and giving it more, like, making it rest more on its cosmetic prestige as far as you're resting on the laurels it took you to get to the comp cape rather than you got to the comp cape because you wanted its stats. Like,
in my opinion, like, comp, it should be an equal, it should be best in slot, but there should be another way to get it, right? Like there should be like ultra kiln cape or something that has that is equal to the comp cape, but takes a lot of PVM, whatever, know-how to get through. And the comp cape, I think, to me, it shines best as something that combines items, like the fact that it's like an Avis accumulator and has a bunch of teleports on it. I think that's the best part of it, because it's like you can get all those rewards or most of those rewards from other places in the game, but when a reward is exclusive to comp cape, I agree. I think that is potentially unhealthy. I think there's an argument for that. I know there's people who would disagree with me, and I welcome that criticism. Yeah. But I think, just to make it so people feel less of a need to rush, it shouldn't necessarily be best.
I don't think Jagex is. Well, I'll give you that. Like, the whole best in slot thing, I think that would be the first place to look to get people away from the whole I have to do this thing. Like, yeah, I think that would probably be a better idea to visit. I want to bring up the logical extreme that Trippy Logic has in chat here, because I think it has value to what they're saying, and I assume that they're saying this with the understanding that it is a logical extreme. But if you want healthy gaming, remove the capes of accomplishment and high scores altogether, right? Like, if you really want healthy gaming, you want to push that to its extreme, like, that's what you would have to do, right? Like, you're basically saying, like, comp cape is a competition, gaming is a competition, RuneScape is a competition. It has a high score system. It has rewards for being on that system. There have been real cash prizes, real physical prizes that have been given out in the past for competitions. And I personally play online video games more for the desire and the drive that it gives me to be the best. So I get an idea of where I'm personally coming from here to understand my opinion as well. Like, I play RuneScape in an ever existing struggle to climb the ladder in the overall high scores. I don't care about anything but overalls, and that's just what I've kind of come. This is what you have to understand is everyone has kind of their own personal agenda, and I think a lot of of people's individual goals will fuel whether or not they're for or against this amnesty. It's just very personally how you play.
Can I butt in here?
Yeah.
You guys were talking about removing comp cape from best in slot or having an alternative. Frankly, I think the comp cape is best in slot and should remain best in slot because it means you've done everything there is in the game, and there shouldn't be an alternative to completing the game.
So why can't you just earn those things on your way to comp, and then the comp itself?
Exactly, and the comp should be the best thing because if you can earn an alternative,
I'm not saying that,
by getting comp, that's what I'm saying is, if you were to have an alternative, you would have it by the time you got to comp, as well. So
yeah, but
comp players would have 2 comp capes?
No,
they would have
comp players would have the comp
cape.
Comp cape, the prestige of comp cape does not come from the fact that it's best in slot. Like when you see a comp cape, you're like, oh, the holiness of having the best stats in the game. It's amazing. The amazing thing about it is the actual cosmetic reward, and if that's what should be focused on in comp. That's what we are saying.
As much as I like cosmetic rewards, but if I really wanted just the cosmetic rewards, I wouldn't go for comp. I would just get max because it's that you can customize the cape. The particles I could give,
and that's the problem.
It wouldn't be for everybody. That's fine. Like comp isn't for everybody right now, but it would still be super It would be even more prestigious because you wouldn't be doing it for best.
I think everything that's attached to comp can be relegated to things that exist in the game that you earn on your way to comp, making it pointless to have a comp cape beyond cosmetic in the first place. So if you make the comp cape cosmetic and all the rewards are on your way, people are just getting those rewards and they don't have to rush to the cosmetic unless they truly want the cosmetic and they're not worried about best in slot.
My point is I care about the best in slot, and as a result,
and you'll still be able to get the best in slot. But
I
feel like there's
huge in completionism. I really want to complete
Are we having a disconnect
everything
here?
there is because
because go ahead, I'll let you finish.
I was just saying that I think I like the comp cape for its cosmetic, for its stats, and because of what it means. So it's kind of a combination of all 3 things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if there was something else that was equivalent to it that didn't require you to complete everything in the game, or if the cape didn't have stats by itself, I wouldn't want it.
That sounds like a really specific problem.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't disagree with you. I mean, that's your personal objective. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily well designed to have it be that way. I don't think that this removes either Mage or Mai's argument from the picture here. Like there would definitely be a few people who would get the comp cape if it was just cosmetic. I mean, that's kind of our point, is that people would feel less motivated to have to rush to it if it was that way.
If you could just get all those other things. And you could just obtain all those other things. And when something new comes out, it doesn't mean you have to rush to that content necessarily just to get your cape back so you can get your best in slot back. Your best in slots are still there. They exist through all the content you've already completed. The only thing you have to do is complete that content just to get the pretty cape back.
Yeah, but I feel like completing everything in the game warrants an item that good.
It doesn't though. It's bad. It's honestly
bad game design.
Yeah, exactly, and it encourages playing the game in a bad way.
All right, let me stop right there. Actually, it is good game design in a static finished product. Like, all right, here's an example that like maybe 3 people will get. The Fierce Deities mask in Majora's Mask is a good OP item that you only get after you've completed the game. And it allows you to go back to any boss and just wreck them in like 3 seconds. And if you can glitch it into the world, you're a freaking god amongst ants. Like you're basically invincible. Like it's a cool item because there's nothing else coming into that game. There's no other players playing that game. It's just you having fun because you've completed everything. When you're in a living, breathing world like this, and people feel obligated to literally miss work, stay up late, affecting their health, or miss social obligations. Like, that is the problem we're trying to deal with here. And just because a few people may think, oh, well, the cape itself isn't best in slot anymore, so I don't care about that. But it's a cosmetic override. You can override it over your best in slot. So what does it matter?
And we can look at 120 capes as a great example. Like, why did Mage get 120 divination? Why do people wear their 120 magic capes? Like,
I could have gotten comp in half the time it took me to get 120 divination.
Yeah, exactly. And but people do it because they like cosmetic. Like, and also, why does Solomon's or Treasure Hunter make so much money when they run a cosmetic event? Because people like cosmetics. They have that pool. Like they're pulling enough on their own. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, I can understand that, and I can understand the whole cosmetic part. But I also think like just because Comp Cape is best in slot doesn't mean it's only in slot. You can use a Kill Cape alternative for your specific stat. Sure, it's not the best damn thing, but the numbers aren't that different to where you should, feel that obligated to get it based off of that. I feel like it has its little ease of access perks, and if you want the ease of access perks, you should have to work harder. You should have
sure, but that's what I said. Ease of access makes sense to me. Like, combining items makes sense. What doesn't make sense is having the best stats. Like, the best stats is where it crosses the line. For the same reason, I mean, it is to a lesser extent, and like you're right, it's not that bad. But like upgrades, like I think it's a 2% DPS increase or something like that. I think with those stats, I could be wrong, so don't necessarily quote me on that, people. But it is it makes a big difference overall in PVM to speed up. If I'm right by 2%, like to speed up your kills by that much, you expand that over 50, 100 hours worth of kills. That is a lot of time saved. A lot of what we do in this game, like people spend like 300. What's the perk you get from noxious weapons? I forget what it is. Yeah, biting. Like biting, I think is biting 2 versus biting 3, like a 1.5% increase.
And people pay hundreds of millions for it.
And people pay hundreds of mil for that.
But that's what I'm saying, is it's a very, very slight difference that, like a Kill Cape versus a Comp Cape.
And what we're saying is people care immensely about that tiny difference.
And it's not very slight, because it's a permanent boost. Like, it's so added over time. That's a huge upgrade. If you plan on doing 100 hours of bossing, a 2% increase for that 100 hours, that's quite a bit of quicker kill times. Like, that's
look at boots. Look at Bandos boots versus Torva boots. Look at the slight difference there. Yet they're like 14 million GP more expensive. Right? It's the same thing, kind of, in sense.
Yeah, and those boots are locked behind GP, not behind thousands of hours of playtime. I mean, that's kind of our whole argument here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is I can understand that, but at the same time, I mean, I think you should get rewarded very heavily, more than just cosmetic and a couple perks. I feel like the Comp Cape is good as it is.
Really unhealthy for an MMORPG, though.
If it was like super stupid, like say you went and for Comp Cape you got like 100 strength magic and range bonus in each slot, as opposed to like a 2-point difference or a 4-point difference, whatever it is.
It sounds like we're bordering into the realm of absurdity here.
I mean, now we're just arguing at what point it becomes absurd. I mean,
I'm gonna shut this argument down here.
I can certainly respect the different aspects, but I also think like
having an opinion does not make you wrong. It just makes
But also, like, to look at your playstyle, like, you played so much this week that it kind of, I don't know, it in some ways reinforces what we're saying. Where like you have played an unhealthy amount this week because you're working towards those type of things, and that's the kind of stuff that I say is not good to have encouraged in a game. And like RuneScape doesn't encourage that, and as cosmetic, it removes like people feel the need for it less. I mean, there would still be some people who would be 100% motivated to get comp ASAP, even if it was cosmetic only.
Oh yeah,
but it would lessen that.
There's always going to be a hardcore group of people that you cannot change their minds on no matter what. Yeah.
I feel like it may be just ingrained in part of my personality to be obsessive, because at the same time I do have enhanced fire cape. It took me until I was 138 combat to be able to kill Jad somehow.
I haven't even tried,
we're
so
not
don't feel
going to
bad.
get into that.
I'm sure I could do it, I just don't want to.
But I killed Jad and then did kill him 6 times in a row and didn't sleep that night either, so that I could destroy 3 of them to make the enhanced fire cape for no stats.
So from what I'm hearing, you have an addictive personality with maybe some fixation issues. There's nothing wrong with that. I do too.
Possibly.
When I say you pulled a mage bit, I'm very, like, I mean it. Like, I do that all the time. I love, because Harley and I agree on the fundamental, I think on some fundamentals here, but we obviously also disagree. But we seem to be despite the fact that I think we fundamentally disagree on the amnesty, we seem to be like arguing on the same side here to some extent, and I think that's interesting. But where I majorly differ is like I love those grinds. Like I love the race. I love it when it's like you like that, like it's the first shot almost goes off and everyone starts running. I love that idea of like, oh, I have to really know life this. Like, for me, that's fun, but it's not for the average player. Like, it's not healthy gameplay. It's not a good way to structure your day for sure. It's definitely not productive. So to say that should be the normal type of behavior, I understand that obviously is definitely not going to appeal to the average person. But I'm by far not the average person. I'm not. Like the whole idea of this amnesty it doesn't anger me at all. You asked for my opinion, and there it is. I think amnesties are dumb. I like the old school classic like grinds that take forever. But that's just me. I'm an old school gamer. And
I think so. Sarah says like if a cape existed like that, I would want it to be locked behind like 500% enraged Telos or something like that. And honestly, I mean, like I don't know, something super hard. I'd be totally okay if that was the unlock. I mean, I definitely don't think they should necessarily be locked behind easy stuff. I think there should just be alternate paths to best in slot. Just like I think with like the max cape, I think there should be a second bossing portal in the game just so people don't feel the need to rush to max. I feel like you miss a lot. The other thing I don't like is like the thing about having a physical reward that is best in slot for these things is it causes a lot of people just to rush through content to get there. Like I think people don't enjoy parts of comp not because it's not necessarily good content, but because they feel the need to rush through it, right? Like Livid Farm. I've talked to people who enjoyed Livid Farm, and I think they enjoyed it because they weren't rushing. They were just playing it for the content that it was. Whereas if you rush through Livid Farm, it sucks because all you're looking at is I need to get Livid Farm done ASAP. This is taking too long. What the hell? But if you can slow down and just see the content for what it is, you actually get a chance to enjoy it. And once you put a powerful reward at the end of that, depending how much content that is, it can really lessen your enjoyment of it. And anyways, I think we've probably covered.
Yeah, I'm gonna give. I like Matt's comment here. I'm gonna read Matt's comment, and then we're gonna move along. He was just says, I play RuneScape because of the long, huge, massive grind. It's not like any other MMO, and that's why I play it. And I think if you don't agree with the first half of that sentence, which I personally do, I think most people can agree with the second half, where RuneScape's not like any other MMO, and that's why we all play it probably. But I mean, I love the grind, and that's
I definitely play it. Yeah, I absolutely play it for the grind. I'm also a player who doesn't like to rush. I think part of the reason I argue this stuff, like, I see myself comping someday. I see myself maxing someday. A year ago, I thought I was going to max super quickly, but now I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't want to suck out my enjoyment of maxing by rushing to the end of it. So now I'm just kind of at a leisurely place.
I care more about the journey than the end result, because once you're there, it's over. For the mass majority of it, obviously, RuneScape's a never changing game. It's not completely over, but like the mass majority of it is like you're waiting on new content and whatnot, and that's a sad place to be. And I think that also I have some comp phobia a little bit there as well, because I'm afraid to finish the game lest I be bored or Anyway, let's move along. We've talked enough about the amnesty. I want to talk about the Soul Obelisk now. Moving back over to activities within Menaphos. I will read from the wiki here so we can get an idea of what this is.
We're at our third topic, or our third post of the day, I should say. Look at how quickly this show is going.
Yeah, we're a third post of the show and only 2 hours in. Well, let's keep going. So a Soul Obelisk appears in Menaphos periodically, initially released as a teaser for the release of the Slayer boss, the Magister. Interacting with the obelisk provides a large amount of city reputation, runecrafting, and prayer experience, but deals damage to the player. If the player does not have level 50 prayer, double experience is gained in the runecrafting instead from the obelisks. It is unclear whether or not the Soul Obelisk is the same as the one found in Soul Wars, which was built by Orb's pupil, Nomad. Zanuck claims that the Soul Wars obelisk has been disappearing from Soul Wars and appearing elsewhere for periods of time, suggesting the possibility that they are one and the same. So, pretty much from my understanding here is you just basically channel on this thing and it slowly siphons your life points, and you pretty much just have to make sure you don't die. Just keep healing yourself via the action bar to avoid not interrupting it. And is that pretty much the mechanics? It disappears?
That's exactly right.
Make sure you have your food on your action bar and not out of your inventory. Because I don't know if it's I'm guessing it's a bug, but right now if you eat from your inventory, it interrupts. So make sure it's key bound.
I think it's something. I think it has to do with clicking, but it may have to do with a bug from the action bar, being that it doesn't actually think you're making a physical movement. I'm not sure.
Anyways, I find it kind of fascinating to think about the Soul Obelisk from a lore perspective in many ways, because it's literally this thing. When you do it, it says the Magister is cursing your name, like as a text popping up. Yeah. So basically, we are all literally feeding our life force to this boss from the underworld and not thinking twice about it.
Yep.
And to think about the lore repercussions of that is kind of hilarious to me.
This is basically like just caressing the Stone of Jas over and over again. It's just basically what we're doing.
Yeah, we're literally sticking our hands in the fire. Like, hey, I mean, you know, we're getting reps, so who cares? Let's just feed our soul to this deity from the underworld.
It seemed like the Magister doesn't really like what we're doing too much.
Yeah, it says that he's cursing your name, right? Like
he's cursing your name, and he gets angry with you. Whatever we're doing is actually hurting the Magister.
Maybe.
Because I think it's when we're touching it, we're actually siphoning from it,
and maybe we're absorbing corruption, and that's why we're taking damage.
Yeah. That's why we're taking damage, because we're hurting him, and he's trying to absorb everyone's soul. So we're trying to because if you notice the NPCs say this hurts my soul, it's in pain. Guards, please stop it. They're being hurt. Their soul is being ripped from them, and it looks like we're using runecrafting and prayer to cleanse and siphon the energy back.
Interesting.
And so as a result, it is hurting the Magister. Is the Magister someone we've met before?
Not yet.
Do we know
it's the upcoming Slayer boss that hasn't been released yet.
All right. Well, I knew that. I just didn't know if he was in lore somewhere.
No, I don't think so. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up here. Let's see. Oreb the Magister is an upcoming solo boss. So no, it doesn't look like there's any other lore. The Magister was translated idiomatically from Latin, which means master, an honorific title that often used to address individual of high social status, such as teachers. So, no, just like, it sounds like that they may have named it, maybe like it teaches other Slayer monsters how to fight, who knows. But, yeah, looks like a new character. So there's that. If you yeah.
Oh, you were about to. I was going to say the FCs, but so there are a bunch of friends chats which are Soul Obby, so SOULOBBY, and then there's Soul Obby FC and Soul Obby FC1 and Soul Obby FC2. So if you need, if you're trying to do these, I think, unfortunately, to me, the worst part about this thing, like I think it's cool. People complaining daily scape, but this is not really a bad daily. It's honestly awesome to have a way to get rune crafting and prayer XP. It's actually pretty good. I think it's like 120k an hour at 99. I think I've been getting, which is for free. It's pretty dang awesome. It's like 60k rune crafting XP. So yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty cool as far as the daily goes. The biggest problem with it is that it spawns on random worlds, kind of like Harmonized Ore does, which is a bit frustrating. I don't know why Jagex encourages like world hopping as like a mechanic. I don't know.
Silly.
I always find that stuff kind of immersion breaking. Like if I have to hop worlds to do something, it makes it breaks my immersion in actually like enjoying the story of the game.
Yeah, I'm with
you. The thing
is,
though, I feel like the mechanic wasn't to encourage world hopping. I think there's been some people commenting on making it synced, but I feel like it's really because, like they say, that Soul Obelisk is randomly disappearing, so it'll randomly disappear at different times from Soul Wars and appear in Menaphos, or from what I'm understanding in the lore.
Synced.
But cool. Exactly.
It should be synced.
Hopefully they can sync that up. That would be great.
They made an actual choice to do it this way. You can look at previous content. They obviously have some kind of for content that forces you to they know at this point that we're just going to make an FC and call this stuff out.
Yeah.
Like the obelisk is always up right now. I think they said that it will probably become less when this event is over, but the obelisk is always up on a world right now, which means that it was a choice of theirs to just make it a hopping worlds minigame, which is just bad design, and I wish they would stop doing that.
It's lazy
stuff.
I think they just were trying to make a mechanic, but they didn't have time, so they used a lazy one. Go ahead, sorry.
Did you mention the Menaphos Friends chat in there? Because the Menaphos Friends chat is the one I use, and they're really good. They also give locations of gems and also the cats. They also have a Discord channel. I believe it's discord.me/Menaphos for the invite.
That is true. Their Discord does calls as well. And the French chat, that one works as well. Yep. Cool.
And the Discord channel is also called the Golden City.
Yes. Anything else?
It's really good.
Or should we keep going here? Any other
Let's
thoughts?
move on.
All right. Oh, quick PSA that I probably should have put at the beginning of the show, but PSA, if you need Slayer Souls, do Shattered Worlds. The monster HP are very low, so you can farm souls easily there.
Yeah, so make sure, just do low-level worlds, like level 15 worlds.
Yeah.
And you can just rip through the monsters. You can even get Ripper Demon souls there. You can kill, level 15 Ripper Demons.
That's going to be patched.
I don't know.
I hope they
will.
don't. It just sounds like something that sounds way too easy.
How does the souls work? Because personally, Slayer is probably my least favorite skill in the entire game, so I haven't really looked into it whatsoever.
You kill monsters, and there's a random chance that you get a soul from it. You need to collect soul from every single Slayer monster in the game to complete your book, and once you have completed your book, then you can be your own Slayer Master. You also need individual souls to add to your dungeons. So if you wanted to say have 5 Ripper Demons, you would need 6 souls. You need 1 for your book and then 5 to actually put into your dungeon. But the main mechanic is completing your book so that you can actually become your own Slayer Master, which you can only do. I think you need 117 Slayer to actually do. So it's a pretty actually 111 because you can boost it with the Wilder Pies. But that's a pretty hefty requirement.
And now, in regards to capturing souls, do you not need an item in your inventory in order to capture them? Isn't there an NPC that gives you something? That
maybe I haven't done it yet.
It's like
so
the Washtabi or something. There's something you have to hold in your inventory. That's basically, I believe, as a mod said on the live stream, it's a Pokeball. And then another mod said a legally differentiated Pokeball. But it is one nonetheless.
Do you need 99? So you need 99 to enter the Order of Slayers. Is that where you get your book, or can you start capturing souls before you're 99?
No, but you need to be 99 first.
You need to be 99 to start any of this.
All right, so Ripper Demon souls will probably be patched by the time that I can do that.
I made a cheeky comment, but yeah, it just seems really if you could kill all those monsters at super low, that just seems like it would make that achievement really easy. But maybe they wanted it to be that way. I don't know. All right,
it seems like it's
I mean, maybe.
If it was my game, I would patch that. That's all.
Is that needed for comp or trim comp?
Yeah, it's trim comp. All souls trim comp.
I'm nowhere near getting max trimmed or comp, but I'm still trying to knock out all the achievements along the way.
It's a good idea. You'll thank yourself later. Trust me. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how I'm doing it too. I think it makes comp more fun if you don't hit max and then try to rush through comp requirements. Anyway,
yeah, as someone who's doing that, trust me, do them along the way. You will hate your life less.
I'm actually I love the lore of the game, I think, which is why I knocked out Quest, and I do mini quests, and I do anything that I can try and learn more lore about the game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's going to make you a better person. Speaking of, our next post here is called Lessons Learned from Menaphos Launch and Future of RuneScape 3 Expansions. It's by Promise Me Dead, coming from Reddit. Here we go. Before I start, I just want to say that I have thoroughly enjoyed all of the discussion about Menaphos, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want to beat a dead horse, so I would like to discuss something that really hasn't been discussed in depth on this sub since the expansion dropped. To begin with, I would like to go over what I believe were the big picture goals that the devs wanted to accomplish with this expansion. Provide a large content update that catered to all types of players, design content that people want to invest a large amount of time in order to keep them busy until the next expansion, and fix known flaws within the gameplay without introducing new flaws in the process. These meta goals that I just outlined can be applied to most every MMORPG that uses the expansion format. Notice also how each goal ties into each other. By introducing a lot of new content all at once, potential problems can arise that disrupt existing systems. In addition, certain types of content, such as skill training methods, will typically require less time to develop and test than other more intricate pieces of content, such as quest and PvM encounters, thus creating development bottlenecks which can push the release date for the expansion. Historically, MMOs have attempted to tackle this problem by releasing the development-heavy content in patches throughout an expansion cycle. Now I have what people may be thinking. Now I know what people may be thinking. Wasn't the whole point of expansions to move away from batch content? This is what I believe Jagex attempted to accomplish with Menaphos, and by large, they succeeded. They shipped an update where 95% of things that they promised were in-game, ready to be completed. The only thing I could think of as missing would be the boss encounter, but I believe that was postponed intentionally. However, a significant problem arose. In order to ensure that no one would be able to speed complete all of the quests and move back to Prif on the first day, they decided to time gate the content behind the reputation system. Initially, we all thought that the only way to get through the grind would be through skilling, city quests, and shifting tombs, and after running the numbers, most people were outraged by the momentous grind before them. Now that we know about the Obelisk event, which was confirmed by JMods as being permanent, not just a promotional event, go ahead.
So I just want to say, there's a big assumption that most people were angry about this. I mean, I definitely think, once again, we have the bias of, first of all, it's the people who use Reddit, and second of all, people who are angry are more likely to post than people who are happy. But I saw a surprising amount of people who were like, I actually like the grind. But anyways, just wanted to throw that in there.
I like the grind. I'm one of them.
I love the grind.
All right, I will resume. Now that we know about the Sol Obelisk event that is announced as permanent, the grind isn't necessarily as daunting, but the problem is still there. By shipping Menaphos with all of the promised content on launch, the only way to ensure that people stay in the city for more than a few days is to employ the reputation system. This, I believe, is the core issue that needs to be addressed. If this is the trend that Jagex will take with future expansions, making rep grinds a core part of the questing progression, then this will just continue to discourage people from completing the quests, and eventually will turn people away from the expansion entirely. By trying to solve the issue of player retention and dead content, Jagex have made the issue so much worse in the process. Imagine for a moment... Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a hugely opinionated... statement, and also there is zero evidence currently that the rep system is going to be continued in any other expansion. Like I said, I wish it would. I played a lot of WoW, and WoW made me hate reputation systems because they were everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
But having reputation systems every once in a while is not a bad thing. As long as it's not, if every expansion in the future has a rep system, then I would agree with this post. But we have no
major city,
proof
I'm fine
of that.
having a rep system. Every expansion should not have a rep system, but every new major city. I'm major city, not maybe minor city, but go ahead.
I have to say, sorry for the interruption there, but I think the reputation system makes the most sense in Menaphos with its lore. I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers,
it does
but
fit into the lore,
with the quests and the way the NPCs talk to you through the quests, the Menaphos reputation system does make a ton of sense, especially since you're just an outsider coming in from nowhere.
I mean, that's part of why I'm okay with it. It fits so well into... That's why I don't necessarily agree with Major that it should be in every city, because I think part of why I like it in Menaphos is there is actually a lore reason for it, which usually does not exist in other games anyways.
Yeah, they did a good job at least making the system feel like it was supposed to be there, I guess.
I have a slightly unrelated statement.
Well, we're in the middle of something. Is it a good time to say that?
It can wait.
Okay, cool. But... imagine for a moment that Menaphos had launched with the first couple of quests, then each new quest in the line was released, say, every week or so. This removes the need to tie the quests to reputation while also giving more development time to flesh out the content. What if the content was done? What if it didn't need the time to flesh it out? I don't think that I feel like they had bonus time, for lack of a better term, because they were adding in some little extra things at the end. It sounded like I feel like they came in ahead of budget here, but again, that's speculation. This system wouldn't be batched content per se. A new Menaphos quest every week for a month is nowhere near as batched to say Prif or the Ark. But not only would players have to take their time with the expansion, they can do so without having to worry about grinding to unlock the quests, and instead spending time exploring the hidden gems in the city. Here's the problem. They won't. If there's no reason to be here, they're gonna just go back to Prif. The grind keeps people here. Go ahead.
If there was one quest and one gem available first day, compers would come, they'd do that quest, they'd grab that gem, and then they'd bounce and come back for next week. It wouldn't encourage them to stay. And even beyond that, this rep system is not here just for the first 3 months. This rep system is a permanent part of the game. And what it's going to encourage is when people get to this city at a low to mid level, they will also be grinding this rep system. And I think that's something else to keep in mind. Is I think the rep system feels much better if you are not already comped. Like I totally understand that compers are frustrated on some level, but compers have to remember they are playing mid-level content, and that is the price you pay for the comp cape, is having to do mid-level content even though you're out-leveled from it. But if you are a mid-level player who comes to Menafos, you could get most of the way through the rep system by the time you're done with this city, and therefore it will feel much more natural to you, whereas a comper is already done with this content. And I understand that frustration, but Jagex can't design mid-level content to be perfect for high-level players necessarily.
I just want to say real quick, if I can,
possible.
In regards to the grind and who it's for and who it isn't for, as Sarah's saying here, there could always be. See, I agree, but I don't think fishing for 100 hours is necessary. The best, or necessary, I guess. It's not necessarily the best method or whatever. But cool, that's fine. You don't have to. There's like 5 other methods you can choose. So there you go.
So I think therein lies where I actually see the problem. Is fishing is the best way.
It's the dominant strategy.
It's the best skilling way to get rep in here. Like woodcutting, I believe, gets you less rep. I think that all the skilling throughout the city should have been balanced.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice slip there.
I agree there.
But like that's the biggest issue I see, is that rep from woodcutting, rep from mining should be balanced. Shifting tombs should definitely be the best, but every skill below that should be balanced.
Yeah, it's silly to have them not balanced. And if anything, like if they have maybe different level requirements or something, which they don't, it's all level 50, right? Like so, like I could understand the rep being different for different like levels of things, but yeah, like with the fact that if the rep is literally different because of the fact that like you have to drop something, or I think the shark outfit is what's making this super OP, right? Because you don't have to ever bank or drop anything when you're fishing, whereas there's nothing to consume, rocks or anything else like that. So you run into that problem still with mining. So yeah, fishing becomes the best. And that was probably I don't know if that was intentional. I feel like it was an oversight. I don't know. If you
don't forget that if you wanted to, if it was equal in all 3 districts, you could crystallize, right? Like you could go crystallize rocks. Well, actually, no, you can't crystallize the rocks. That's right. But you could crystallize the trees, and get. I believe it's best woodcutting XP in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe I think the arc might be better.
It's less rep? I don't know.
But I think it should be I still think it should be equal rep. I think that's the problem. Is that like crystallized I think takes away some of the issue with the shark outfit. Although the shark outfit's still more AFK. But if you don't care about
AFK.
If you don't care about 5-minute AFK, crystallize is a minute worth of AFK. That's pretty good.
It can be tough, and I do understand where Sarah's coming from. It's just like it sucks that you like she's 200 million in fishing, so it's like, well, obviously you don't want to fish because you're getting literally nothing. Yeah. Like I understand.
Yeah,
that. That's not fair. Like that is not fair.
Yeah, and that is the sucky part. But if you were 200 mil in every skill here, you have to remember that I definitely agree. Like I said,
for you anymore.
Exactly. If every skill was balanced, I don't think it would be an issue. The issue is that every skill is not
Sarah's
balanced.
right. Crystallize is only 30 seconds, unless they buffed it or something.
It's a minute if you have the prayer on.
Okay.
So that's how I'm
judging
it.
All right, just caveat then, make that aware that you got to have the prayer. All right. Let's continue on with this document here. If this was the case, we wouldn't see nearly as much frustration from players who feel that they were being forced to complete content that they find no interest in. This is just a potential solution to the time gate issue, and should Jagex wish to continue to expand storylines in the future expansions, I believe this would be the best route to follow. And let me clarify something. I don't dislike the reputation system as a concept. Personally, I love the concept of earning reputation in games. However, it should not hinder people from being able to participate in other pieces of core content, such as quests, combat, and skill. Because that's exactly what I feel like a reputation system is for.
Yeah.
It's like, you come in, you have access to, like, some stuff, or maybe not the best stuff, but access to, everything at the base level, and then the more rep you get, the more stuff you get access to. Like that's what. If there was nothing like that behind the reputation system, I feel like it would not have as much teeth. But I don't know. Let's see here.
Actually, I might be wrong about crystallize. I might be misremembering. It might just be 30 seconds. I thought there was a way to increase it to a minute, but I just realized that maybe. I don't know. I might be getting things mixed up in my head. I wanted to say about the rep system. I also think another aspect to think about this is that we need like skilling content, back in 2006, 2007, it was locked behind skill level and previous quests. But as skill levels have and more people get 99s, Jagex needs different ways to lock content because the majority of super active players have a lot of 99s, or not even 99s, but 80 plus in skills, which I think gets you access to every quest. The average player, I think, has around level 70 in most stats. So that means most players can do every quest in the game. And so Jagex is trying to find different ways to make it so that when they release a new quest, you can't just do it right away, which I think is totally valid. Some people don't like that, but with skilling being the way it is now, where they can't release 5 skills a year, or 2-3 skills a year like they used to. They have to release them at less time. So a rep system is another way to lock stuff that used to be locked by stuff like skilling. And I think it's valid to explore those avenues. I would argue, to me, the biggest issue, like I said, is with the fact that it's not balanced across skilling methods, and I also think that the rep rewards should have been better. To me, the biggest problem, most of the rep rewards are kind of stupid. That's the real problem. If we were unlocking cool stuff as we go along, it would probably feel a bit better. But I think at least half the rep rewards are just cosmetics, which is kind of with stuff like Solomon's and all the events where we get free cosmetics as a rep unlock just don't feel good.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I can agree there.
I like the idea of a rep system basically giving you access to more advanced things in the city, as I would feel like if I was, a famous person, you'd have more access to things, I guess. I don't know. People would be more willing to give you discounts and maybe more.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Better deals in the shops. You should get better areas for better reputation unlocks too.
That's what I would say too. What Sarah's saying as well is I think that there should probably be 3 tiers that are here's a 5% increase to rep, here's another 5%, so that once you're at the near the end, you have a 15% increase to all rep gains. That would be something that I'm honestly not sure why they didn't include that type of stuff in the rep. And honestly, if they had added something where once you they have one Shifting Tombs increase, I think, feathers and gold buff, but it would be nice if they had another one once you're at to me the highest tier city, not district unlock, the highest tier city unlock should be another Shifting Tombs increase to gold and feathers, because that would be 50 hours of content you have to play through, and then you're making even more money from Shifting Tombs. Why wouldn't that be valid?
Fair enough. Let me wrap up this document real quick, and then we can wrap up this thought. So let me end with this. Should Jagex continue to give us all the content on the day of release for future expansions, while also imposing reputation systems in order to time-gate the gameplay, or would we as the players be more comfortable with having the content of the expansions be spaced over several weeks? I personally would prefer the latter option, but I am interested to see what the rest of the community thinks on this topic. So, straight up, as far as my flat-out opinion is, I think that they did it the right way. That's all I'm going to say, because a lot has been said, and I'll let Harley, if you want to wrap up with any other points on this specific topic, then feel free to.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you that I think they did it the right way. Like I said, I don't want to see a rep system for every expansion, but I want to see some kind of gating, and I want to see a big gating release at the beginning. I think that adds some fun. The problem with doing a weekly release as your only gating is that gate is gone unless you're playing the game for that month, and I think the rep system will always be here to spread out the content for you. Whereas if next week was the next quest coming, as soon as that week passed, anybody
what if I
who
was
wasn't
just on
playing
holiday for
misses
the month?
that.
Then there's no gate for me. Anyway,
exactly.
I feel like if they'd released a reputation system with, say, for thinness, it wouldn't have made too much sense because you kind of saved their city.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I totally agree. Lore is a big part of why I like this rep system, but we've said that.
Yeah, I feel like if it fits within the game and it fits within the lore and makes sense and maybe has better rewards in the future, I'd like to see some more, but that doesn't mean every new city, like you guys were saying, should have a reputation system, because eventually that's going to be really annoying.
Well, continuing on the subject of reputations, let's continue on with this next topic, who says, is it time for public betas?
So there's one, sorry, I have an open discussion inserted in the doc, so you missed it. But so we have an open discussion here, and that open discussion is why haven't we crossed 400 quest points yet? It's been a year now since the Gower quest, and as people remember in that stream, they said that originally they wanted to give out 15 quest points to people as a reward for that quest, but they realized it was going to put them over 400, and that meant rebalancing some stuff. And here we are a year later, and 4 new quests in the game, and I think they each give out 1 quest point because, once again, they don't want to reach that cap. We've been sitting at like 380 plus quest points for years now, and it's, to me, it's starting to like devalue the point of quest points. Like, they aren't giving quest points based on what quests require as a reward anymore. They're giving them based on their fear of having to do some balancing to rewards that they've launched. And I don't know about YouTube, but it's a bit frustrating to me at this point.
Sasuke's endgame should have given way more than 1 quest point. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, quest points have always been
great
in balance.
Example.
Like, it's just for the past 16 years, quest points they've made no sense. Like, they've always made no sense.
Don't you get like 3 for doing Dragon Slayer or something?
You get like 4 for doing Sheep Shearer. Like, it makes no sense. Like, literally no sense.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, I'm okay with the randomness of it, but at this point, it's gotten to the point. Me. Well, I don't know. At this point, it's gotten to the point where it's not random. It's like we just know every quest is going to be 1 quest point.
Now we do, yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, it just feels bad.
I would like to see quest points either just 1 for every quest, or it should scale depending on the difficulty of the quest. Like, that would make the most sense, I think. Like, 1 for an easy quest, 2 for an intermediate quest, 3 for an experience quest, 4 for a master quest, so on and so forth.
I think they've said partially that a lot of the way quest points are, or at least were, based on lore in some respects. But now, like you said, Sasuke's endgame, I haven't done it yet, so no spoilers. But I know that quest is lore heavy as hell, and it gives you 1. Like, what? And then, like, Fight Club, like Sarah's
They just don't want to hit 400. That's the
that
thing.
only gives 1.
Yeah,
don't they have to give us a reward or something when we hit 400?
Yes.
Like, isn't there a cosmetic
so
or something that comes
there's
out?
going to be a new pet that has to come out, and also it's going to affect how many Slayer tasks you can block, I believe.
Yep.
Wait, why do they have to give us a new pet?
Because
they
there's
told us they would. I don't know.
Because there's a built-in, it's a built-in system to quest points at every 100.
Yeah.
I think there's a pet at
32.
100
Yeah.
and 200.
Every 100.
Wait, what
you're
pets
right.
are those?
Exactly. Nobody even knows about these pets. Am I right?
I forget what pets they are.
I can tell you.
You get
It's the dragon wolf pets. It's the little wolves that are wearing the dragon masks. It's those.
I just recently learned about the red dragon wolf mask, and I just thought that was for that 1 quest.
No, that's just because you hit a milestone of quests.
No, it's because I saw someone with it, Googled it, and then did the whole chain of things I had to do to unlock the pet.
There you go. But
I didn't know there were other ones.
Yeah, there I believe are a couple other ones. I'll pull it up on the wiki, because my memory is slightly faulty here. But yeah, if you bring up the quest point document on the wiki, I think it tells you the exact name of it. It is, if I can pull it up here in time.
Really
the
makes
Black
me upset.
Dragon Wolf Juvenile is the one that I think they that will come out, and right now the Red Dragon Wolf Juvenile, that's the pet that you can get from the 200 quest points or something.
So maybe it's every
that's the only
200
one I have.
quest points then, I guess.
Must be
Not
200
every
quest
100.
points, yeah. So
Yeah.
the red one, and then I think the black one's supposed to come out at 400, but yeah.
So there's
there is
no
400.
green or blue?
I guess not. Maybe there will be someday. At 300 quest points, players conduct a Xenia or Ileona to receive Helmet of Trials, and then maximum quest points for equipped quest key, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so pretty much there's a 300, a 400, and a 200, but nothing for 100, it seems. That at least 50 quest points, you get an experience lamp from Philip Carnelian, it sounds like. But yeah, the pets start at 200, so there you go.
So basically,
Anyway.
Jagex, get your shit together. You need to put us over 400 quest points and stop putting this off. The amount
make
of time that you are putting this off it's just embarrassing at this point and frustrating to players. Like, just do it already.
Right. Anyway, is it now time to talk about public betas?
Yep.
So, is it time to talk about public betas? Asks EarPeasy, who says, I was thinking about how balanced a lot of the content has been over the past months. There have been numerous times where Jagex have had to revisit newly released content to tweak things. With Menaphos, the overall majority of the balancing is off. Reputation gain, increased Slayer XP rates, where are these? And the drops and GP per hour of new Slayer monsters all could be done with looking at. If Jagex are moving to update schedules of having major expansions every few months, should this content be tested publicly on a separate server before it gets released? I would argue that we don't need this because they have public playtesting now. It's not public per se, but they have, you can apply to playtest and go into the studio now. They have actual players testing it. And I think that is a much better solution than beta servers because nobody actually beta tests.
Exactly. As we've said a million times, you need a huge audience to get an actual useful beta test, and RuneScape does not have that audience. Most people who would play the beta would not actually send in feedback. You know who has that audience?
Microsoft. Those are the types of people who can do a beta.
Yeah, or Overwatch that has
Blizzard
30 million active players. So They can pull it off. And even then, most of the stuff they do is automated testing, which I think is way harder in a system in a complicated MMO type system. Automated testing is a bit harder to actually balance. I also think that I think Menaphos is not near as bad as this person is selling it. As far as I understand it, the Slayer XP rates are actually good. This post was also posted way too early. It was posted on Tuesday before. Which is another problem with I think this week has been people rushing to conclusions where it's give people a week or two to figure out best methods to kill this stuff, and then if you actually do those best methods, here's an idea. You might get better XP if you're doing best methods to kill a monster. I mean, shocker, hashtag listen to PVM perspective, but yeah, so give it time to actually figure out the content. It's the same problem we had with people flipping out about rep in the first few days. Was Jagex from day one said, "Hold on, guys, there's gonna be new ways to get rep," and people were like, "No, this rep is terrible. What the fuck?" And then what happens? The Soul Obelisk comes out and it gives you 20k rep in half an hour, and people shut up because it got better. I mean, there's still some complaints, and they're actually making more changes, but it was,
I hope it doesn't get easier to obtain rep because I thought it was pretty fair.
It's gonna get easier to obtain rep.
That's really disappointing.
Inevitable. But you get the early bird features of all the stuff first for your, initial efforts, if that's doing anything for you.
Yeah, currently waiting to buy a Soul Talisman because it's not on the GE.
So the top comment here is kind of something that I was also with reading, and it says this is from Durantai. I think the biggest issue with Jagex and their balancing is that for some reason they do the exact opposite of most companies when it comes to things. Most companies try to make sure their content release is extremely strong, borderline OP, and very often things are released that are absurdly strong and good but only for a limited time. Jagex used to do this, Gamma Beasts for example, but they stopped for some reason. You can always nerf later. And I'm not going to read the rest of it, but I actually categorically disagree with this comment because you can also always buff later. Jagex has been doing the approach recently where I agree, they are releasing stuff that's potentially underpowered, and then they are buffing it as time goes on, which I think is a way more healthy mechanic because it allows the thing that OP content does is it allows a few people to get rich quick on stuff or to no life it and get best XP, and then when those people basically have extreme benefits, and then the content gets harder and people who come out later get screwed over. And I think it's much healthier long term to do it the opposite way, where stuff is potentially underpowered when it comes out, and then you make it better as you see the data come in. What are your thoughts on that, Mage?
Well, I think it's better to probably go with the latter than the former. I do have to say that I don't have a crazy opinion overall on this because it's been hashed a bunch of times, and I feel like I've kind of said it a bunch of times. I don't know. I honestly I don't know. Help me out here. My mind is I'm drawing a blank. Fix me. Reboot me. Help.
Fix you. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we probably covered this enough. And if you don't have any like
I
specific
don't have
things to say on
anything new to say. I feel like I've said it a
That's
million
fair.
times, and
That's fair.
I'm trying to think of what I've said, and I'm trying to rehash it to maybe say it differently. But it's just, I think Jagex did it right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's enough. We have enough topics.
I can
Might
agree
as well just move on. I think. The next thing we're covering is Menopause comp requirements. I will let you read this, Mage, because you're much better at reading long form stuff than I am.
This is a long one, so prepare yourself. Menopause Journal Comp Requirements by Ains RS. I thought Jagex had agreed that RNG requirements were bad enough for Trim that they should be mitigated, and yet now they are even shifting them to comp. Not only are these several RNG things you need to have to do, but they all have little annoying qualities to them. Several gems can be obtained through RNG. The Corundum gem is a 1 in 750 chance in Shifting Tombs. Basically makes that annoying minigame compulsory for God knows how many hours. Not only Shifting Tombs, but you also have to hope you run into Corruption Crystals before you can roll on the 1 in 750 dice. So they're talking about the gems in there. Yeah, the crystals in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. First, I want to say, if you can't play all content without calling it annoying, like, then you probably shouldn't be going for comp. Like, just the amount of like personal thing.
You can call it annoying, but if it deals you to make a forum post about it, like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, like maybe you shouldn't be copying in the first place if you have a problem with doing all the content in the game, because like Shifting Tombs is loved by a bunch of people. Your personal opinion here shouldn't matter. And the other part I want to bring up is 1 in 750 is not bad.
No,
I mined at least 2,000 ore, I would say, in our 6-hour stream. And maybe I'm overestimating that, but it's so popular in there. Maybe it was more like 1,000 ore. I probably mined 1,000 ore, and we weren't looking for it. If you wanted to literally just search for that thing, you could hop into a Shifting Tomb, don't see any, okay, then just DC, reconnect, hop into another Shifting Tomb. Like, you could do this achievement in under an hour if you were min-maxing it. It's just not bad at all.
I don't have that gem.
Do you do a lot of mining?
I do mining at every opportunity that I need to. Okay. I was going for rep.
That's crazy. I feel
that's
bad
amazing.
for you.
Yeah.
So, and then again, this is the problem, right? Is there are going to be certain statistical outliers that get screwed over.
Well, I highly doubt that I mined 750 because, like I said, I was going for rep. So my goal was to get out. My goal was to get it. Well, it's to get out as soon as everyone's ready and when I finish my objectives.
Completely not looking for it, I would say I got it within the first 3 hours. So it's a long grind. Like, it took me 3 hours to probably get it, I would say.
And with the whatever boost you get from breaking urns, you can mine like 5-10 rocks at a time.
If you are
it's super easy.
Yeah,
to tear
if you're
through
efficient, if you're good at it. Like I said, if you're good at Shifting Tombs, it's not hard. Go ahead.
Do we know if Kamehameha blasting actually counts for mining them and getting that rock?
I can't 100% say, but I would be extremely disappointed if that was not the case.
Yeah, if it didn't, then they should fix that.
It should be every time that it procs on corruption gain, I would assume. But can't say that for 100% because I didn't write the code. The next gem here, Wyconite. So there's an NPC that spawns that you have to pickpocket for RNG chance to gain the required gem, except that you can't auto-pickpocket it. Oh, you poor thing. So you have to keep clicking it furiously for pitiful experience. 30-ish XP for drop, pitiful reputation, and you'll probably get carpal tunnel by the time you're done. So RNG spawn, then RNG pickpocket. It took me 50 minutes of straight spamming it to finally get the gem. Several friends reported the following times: 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3.5 hours. So pure annoying RNG mixed in with some carpal tunnel. Who decided going back to 2002 pre-prif thieving was a good idea?
Welcome to low-level thieving, buddy, because every single piece of thieving content in the game, besides for that one wilderness part and prif, is click and destroy your wrists. And I actually agree with you that it totally freaking sucks, but like that's where we are.
Yeah. And I'll remind you that Shifting Tombs, I noticed they didn't mention it, but Shifting Tombs actually hurt my wrist a significant amount, having to spam click to smash all the urns. Just want to mention that.
Oh, yeah, I somehow found it. I mean, I definitely felt it a little bit, but I didn't find it as bad as other stuff because I think the thing about Shifting Tombs is you're moving your hand around a lot more. Whereas, like, if you're like quote unquote efficiently training thieving, you like trap the person in
You
a
know
corner
what?
and
We
you
may
don't
have very
move your
different
wrist.
mouse sensitivities.
That's that's possible.
What if I mean, when I did my Shifting Tombs runs, because we were all going hard for reputation, about once every 3 or 5 matches, or when we just felt like we had been doing it, like 4 hours straight, and then decided we wanted to, like our wrists were hurting at the end of the match, we would actually wait until like 5 seconds were left, and we would disassemble for those last like 2 minutes sometimes, so that we wouldn't even have to touch our mouse.
Good idea. Disassembly instead of just standing at the end of the tomb waiting for your team.
You didn't bring disassembly materials?
Didn't cross my mind. Yeah.
My
I hate
God.
invention. Like, I don't think about invention, like, ever. It's a good idea.
I think I've gotten about 6,000 simple parts from the maple logs that I brought in.
Such a good idea.
Because you can bring in
like
25,000 noted maple
every
logs.
single thing this guy is complaining about here, like, once again, I would say if you were a low to mid-level player playing through this content, you wouldn't even notice this stuff, because you are,
Probably,
like
yeah.
I said, you are required to train thieving that way, and probably while training thieving here, you would get that gem. Shifting Tombs would be a great way for you to make money as
Hopefully
as
you
low
decided to
level
come here
player.
before you decided to grind out Pyramid Plunder till like 92 or though. Like,
I'm not going to lie.
Uh-huh.
I had 81 fishing when I got 80, 81, 82. I'm at 82 now. I don't have the fishing level for Prif. I don't have a thieving level for Prif. I don't have a mining level for Prif. I will probably train those skills here.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's a beautiful place to do so. Sarah's saying they've got like over 15 hours in Shifting Tombs and no gem. Yeah, that sucks. And that's for two accounts. That's for both Sarah and Remy. That's the real shit, I feel like. So clearly RNG is a problem. I don't hate RNG, but maybe it does need to be slightly adjusted. I can't 100% say yes or no on that, but I'll continue reading here. Wavecrest and Maw Gems can be obtained from fishing, but yet again, pure RNG. At least it's AFK, but still RNG. People in the Metaphos FC have reported all sorts of times for these, ranging from 30 minutes to several hours. The Menophrite gem can be obtained from playing Pyramid Plunder again at a pure RNG chance. I've heard people tell stories of spending a few hours at Pyramid Plunder and not getting it. And why the F would any compers of high-level thieves want to spend hours at Pyramid Plunder? Why?
They would, because they're trying to get the fucking comp cape, actually, is the fucking reason.
You know what? I initially was like, oh my god, I don't want to go back to Pyramid Plunder, but I don't actually have the full Ibis outfit from the first time I got 120 thieving. So yes, I'm a victim of RNG too. And look at this, I found a positive reason to go back to Pyramid Plunder now. There you go.
You can also get all the skilling pets in Shifting Tombs, right?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
From what I understand, all of them. Anytime you proc XP, even when completing
That's
a
awesome.
match, you have.
Is that
eligible for the
confirmed?
pet.
Yes.
That's where I read it was from a mod.
Cool. That's really good to know. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, anyway, I just think, like, it's worth saying, like, why would any comper want to go back there? Because you're comping. Like, that is the whole point. Like, if you don't want to comp, don't comp. Like, it is that simple. But if new mid-level content comes out and you expect there not to be comp requirements, you fundamentally misunderstand the point of the completionist cape.
Got a comment in here coming from in-game real quick. Someone just got an Onyx ring from a City Quest medium reward box. That's pretty cool. It's a good reward. Do you want to chime in there, Romeo?
Yeah, I was gonna say since getting my quest cape, because like the very last quest the first quest I had to do after getting quest cape was Slisuke's endgame, and no spoilers, but my opinion was that was probably one of the hardest quests I had to do in the game, next to Birthright, and I did those two like back to back. I did Birthright, and then I did Slisuke's endgame on release for that one. And so when I had done that, my mind was like, all right, well, I did Children of Ma, and then I had Birthright.
Yeah. Wow. That is one hell of a combination. I think we lost you there at the end there. Could you hear me still, Romeo? Or did you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we lost you at you get cut off after you were talking about the Elder City quests.
Yeah.
Do you want?
Yeah, so I had finished all three of those. I did the Children of Ma and Birthright. I forget which one was first, but they're of the same difficulty almost. And then I did Slisuke's Endgame on release, and so I was thinking, oh god, these quests are just going to keep getting harder, so obviously the next quest is going to be harder than Slisuke's Endgame, right? And then they pop out with Back to the Freezer. And so, like...
That's what's great about Jagex quests. there.
Yeah, and I like you guys were mentioning earlier for comp things. Obviously sometimes you have to do low-level content because they're not going to keep releasing high-level content. So it took me a few quests to realize, wait, they're not all going to be that hard. I have to go back and do easy quests sometimes. So when the first quest for Menopause came out, I was pleasantly surprised with that one. And then all the way up through the end, they were all master quests, I believe. All three except for the first one are master quests, I think.
Okay.
And so I didn't think they were too difficult, but my bar is set up at Slisuke's endgame, so.
Fair enough. Back on topic. Phenakite, Krondite gems found while mining, more RNG, but at least AFK. And Hyundai or Indocrace gems can be found by completing city quests, which can only be done on the hour. If I remember correctly, it says in parentheses there, add an RNG chance. So many creative ways to lace RNG onto things. Even by the standards of traditional trim requirements, this is a lot of stuff into one sub-requirement of the many Menopause requirements. And these are all comp requirements, not merely trim. This is all on top of the reputation grind. Why are these things a comp requirement? They completely contradict past precedents, such as the Ark, and Jagex's... The Ark was not, like, a new city, though. And Jagex's public guidelines on trim versus comp requirements, and the JMod threads in the high-level forums, previous comp controversies in RNG.
It's also worth saying, he says on top of the rep requirement, which is not 100% true because you earn rep by doing literally everything he listed here.
Yeah, it's kind of like a synergistic effect, right? Like you're doing everything at once.
I would, unless your RNG is complete and utter hell, if you just did every single one of these things until you got the things you needed for comp from them, you would still not have max rep. So like,
I love it when people say fix RNG.
Possibly.
You can't fix randomness. It's like...
I got a luck of the dwarves to help improve mine.
There you go. See, that's being proactive.
I have like negative luck, so hopefully I have normal luck.
Yeah, now you just have 0 luck instead of negative luck. They have just casually snuck multiple RNG requirements on us and attached them to low-level, annoying, non-AFK activities that no sane person would want to do. Make it exactly...
Right there is just super... effed up too,
it's a hyperbolic statement that you can't back up at all.
Yeah, this person is someone I feel like from this post who clearly all they want to do is PVM, and they are annoyed that they can't just be doing PVM right now. Which is like, that's fine if that's what you like to do, but then don't be a comper because it's going to require you to do non-PVM stuff. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show, Shifting Tunes is an amazing update if you're someone who isn't 100% only about PVM.
Yeah. If you like skilling grinds, then this update you probably are enjoying. It continues on here. It says, make it exactly like the Ark, where the pets, the Salty Voyager, Fun Gal, mushroom titles, Iago, bird pet, mushrooms and birds and berries, etc. were all optional rewards for those who wanted to voluntarily go beyond the comp cape. But see, the Ark was its own isolated region. It had its own currency. Like it was its own isolated locked region. Like comparing them is a bad idea for your argument here, my friend. None of the others were comp requirements. They weren't even trim requirements. Of the stuff that were comp requirements, most of the Ark grinding was AFK and non-RNG. Here, they are actually wanting us to pull out our hair doing random and annoying things.
It's almost like this person is starting to learn how bad skilling is for mid-level players, and he just can't stand it. Like
speaking of the jewels, sorry about that. I just got the Wave Crest Opal.
Nice. There you go. RNG. It's proven that if you're listening to RuneScape Weekly while doing any activity, you do get a +2 passive to your luck. So keep that in mind.
JMods have confirmed that.
They have. I can't tell you which ones because they got fired, but it's true. And my dad works at Nintendo. What do we got going here? Our next post, still on the topic of everyone's favorite new system, the reputation system. This one is a meme, so I'll do my best to translate it.
No, just read the comment. The meme part, I only posted it for the Jagex Chaplain comment. The meme part is just kind of gross.
So it's in regards to the Tier 9 requirement for cats, I believe, and Jagex Chaplain replies to that and says it's still under discussion. We may end up lowering the cats to Tier 5 and removing RNG elements from comp. My view is that asking people to get Tier 5 in every faction seems a bit much, and spending ages flipping coins is a little excessive for non-trim. The view of some of the other devs is not quite enough, as people have maxed out one faction already with ease and have another 3 months before amnesty. that's the key word right there. Is like there's a 3-month amnesty period. I don't even need the amnesty, but I'm already tier 6 overall, then tier 4, tier 5, and then tier 2 and tier 2.
I'm tier 5, tier 5, tier 5, tier 5, and tier 9.
So and this is day 4. Like
Day 4.
I don't think that we need an adjustment here, but anyway, there's more than just talking about rep here. And Harley, if you want to expound on that, please feel free to, because Chaplin does chime in on multiple different things here as well, including possibly removing the RNG. But again, the fact that so many people are already like borderline done with this, it almost seems like, why would you want to remove the RNG to make it even easier for them? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, I think it's good if they're discussing some of this stuff. I mean, I can see some of the arguments with RNG. I just definitely think it's not as bad as people, an end of the world as people think it is. Like, I mean, I think part of it is, like, with the amnesty, it means we actually have a chance to discuss requirements before they're in the game. So if there are requirements that are actually kind of effed up, Jagex can fix those because they're not in the game yet. They are just, I guess, you could almost call them suggested comp requirements instead of actual comp requirements at this point. Sure.
There you go. Shall I continue on to the next topic now? Let's see. We have another one by Daxi Varga, who says, "Isn't it reasonable to expect a mid-level expansion to have content behind grind times mid-levels would see naturally through their playtime?" Wow, what a revolutionary question to ask. It's almost like this person has an IQ above 100. Let's see here. Yeah, I get 280,000 something rep, and you can't do quest for comp or quest cape day 1, but the content was made for mid-level players who would probably skill normally and play steadily like all us max players did years ago, fishing lobsters and shark and catherby or spending hours at hill giants. This mid-level content is... Exactly. This mid-level content is coming out now that max players have insane XP rates and alternate methods to train, so spending time training for low-level XP seems crazy. I saw a suggestion earlier that there could be higher rep rates for high-level players. They could even add a task system or something that has a high-level desert skilling, so max players feel less sore about it. Doesn't seem insane killer for me that mid-level content for full rewards would be behind 50 hours, which is pretty much nothing compared to some of the other max grinds players have done before. I couldn't have said it better myself, except for some major grammatical problems throughout this document. But, yeah, exactly. Like, this content is just not meant for, like, anyone who's complaining about it, mostly. Everyone who's complaining about it is complaining about it because of its comp requirements and whatnot, right? And that's, of course, because of the fact that they are on the level of comp. And this content is definitely not meant for you. It's like, I'm sitting here getting 84 to 100,000 fishing XP an hour. Am I complaining about that? No, because I have a bunch of quests that I'm unlocking. I have a bunch of rewards that are unlocking as I progress. Yeah, I'm maxed. I should be comping. I have multiple 120s. I have over 1.3 billion experience. Whatever. I'm getting 90k an hour. I don't care about the XP at this point. Like, go ahead. And you shouldn't either. Go ahead, Harley.
Also, it's worth pointing out that if you wanted to care about the XP, you could crystallize and get actual good XP.
I could.
Let's not forget that is an option here, and people have just which is totally valid, have just chosen to do the AFK instead of the caring about the XP methods. But Jagex did actually think about high-level players on some of those levels where they made most of the stuff in the city crystallize, or shifting tombs where it's a good money maker. If you already have 99 on those skills, don't care about 120s, then you can just use shifting tombs to make money.
Yeah, and it's good money, and it's fun to play with people that are, especially if they're your friends. The randos are hit or miss, but to keep this steam train rolling, another unpopular opinion by Wall Street Gentleman, who says, "I understand this is an important opinion and will most likely get downvoted by whoever disagrees." And this is 50% upvoted, so yes, it did. However, I just feel as though it's their game and we're playing a game they're making. Jagex have set those rates, so I just go along with it and accept that for me being able to do the quest and achieve that title, I'll have to grind out various activities in the Metaphos area. I don't know, perhaps it's their plan to make 120s the norm later on, or maybe it's something else. Thing is, in the case of grinding, it's just something that comes with the game. Most of the grind is AFK, whereas RuneScape in its prime or golden age was not nearly as AFK as this is, and was almost entirely grinding and a whole load of clicking. Perhaps the grind allows you to feel a greater sense of accomplishment once completing the quest, given it has a reasonable reward. Understandably, some updates are just way out of this world Jagex may have had to rethink, but this doesn't seem as bad, to be honest. Again, I know it's an unpopular opinion and most won't read, but hey, I wrote this well on the shitter. Thank you for that detail. Appreciate that.
That's a good.
And this person also says they're not a Max player, so I think this is the person who this content is also aimed at, which I think is also probably part of why potentially I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm not a Max player. Like, I find that this fishing means that I am, getting fishing XP, which is something I actually need because I'm only 82 fishing.
Hey, same
but
twinsies.
But it's something that that's the price you pay, as we've said, for comping, is that when mid-level content comes out, you're going to have to do it even though it's not relevant to you in many levels. Like that, I mean, it sucks, but I think that's the price of the comp cape.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, I just started doing something that isn't shifting tombs since I'm finally done with what I wanted here. And so I can do casual skilling and stuff. So I'm doing fish vention now, and I'm hoping the fish here I can use for wood cutting, so it'll kind of be something I need to do, and so I can take my time and just kind of relax and do skilling in Menafos.
Yeah, because I mean, that's as Awesome Gaming says here, the entire game is about setting goals, grinding, etc. So what's the problem with the reputation system? He goes on and says, I think it's outrageous that this whole grind argument is a thing. To even get into Prif is more than 50 hours of grind. The city is more for mid-level players, which means they'd train their skills in the city. By training their skills in the city, they would gain reputation as a bonus. I've gained quite a few levels here already and having a great time. I can sympathize with people that don't need the levels to which maybe people with higher levels could get more reputation for skilling activities as a scaling type of system. So this is something I've seen brought up multiple times by these mid-level players who are enjoying the content but are obviously put off probably by all the negativity that the higher level community is spouting off. And the thing I keep seeing over and over again is maybe high-level players should have a higher rate of gaining rep? Thoughts?
I think it is a possibility that it could be done, but I also don't honestly see the need for it. Like, I think, like I said, and I'll be quick because I've said it, this is the price you pay for doing content, for wanting a comp cape, is you're going to have to do mid-level content sometimes. That is just the price of admission.
So, as I'm skilling here, by the way, slightly unrelated, I keep getting into my chat box, and every half an hour or so, a creature is discovered while skilling. Am I just finding things in my journal and it's just not telling you what? That's weird. I don't know what that is. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. But, sorry to derail. Feel free to re-rail us if you'd like.
Wait, a creature is...
Yeah, it just...
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'll put it in Discord. Discord.runeweek.com. If anyone is interested in following our Discord channel, I'll toss the picture in. If you take a look at my chat
Did you
box,
just get it at
12:13:01?
12:13:01?
I don't have timestamps turned on. Why?
But I just got one too, so I'm wondering if it's like a world thing.
It might be. I've gotten it twice in the past hour, I guess. It's hard to say how long this chat box has been.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't know.
I can see it 3 times in the past 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, here it is.
So.
Sarah says it's an impling or a Guthix butterfly. Okay, so is that how these stupid implings are spawning?
Oh,
right. I forgot about that. That's a.
Yeah, it's probably the butterfly because
it's
there's
a tier
implings spawning
reward.
near me,
Gotcha.
and it doesn't say that.
Cool. Thank you. Mystery solved.
Yeah, most likely. I'm in VIP area, so I don't know if butterflies proc you, but I haven't seen any.
I can't wait to get to the VIP area. It looks so sweet. It just looks cool.
Once you get here, I'll come fish with you.
Okay. Is the grass
all right?
We got an open discussion.
There's no grass.
Yeah, we should keep moving so we can get through this.
Yeah, we got 5 more topics and an open discussion, so let's keep going along here. Our next open discussion is the state of bonus XP in RuneScape.
So
go ahead, lead.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a preface on this to explain it. So, I guess the biggest example we have is that we've had an extra double XP weekend this year, but people may have noticed too that we've also this year had the the best lamp reward we've ever had with I forget the name of the lamps, but we just had them again on Tuesday, and then no, not smoldering.
Huh.
No,
Lava Lantern?
smoldering. Or is it maybe
Smoldering gives you
Smoldering.
bonus XP and XP at the same time.
It redeems your bonus XP.
Yeah, but that's not. It's like it was like the enhanced Prismania one or whatever the hell. It's called.
Oh, yeah, the Supreme Fallen Stars.
Yeah, though that is the best XP thing we've ever had in the game. Smoldering lamps aren't as amazing, but anyway, we've been having a lot of XP events recently rather than other events. We had the repeat of the Supreme Fallen Stars event on Tuesday, and now we have a whole week of Smoldering Lamps, which seems kind of like the perfect setup where basically anybody who's dumped a bunch of money into the Supreme Lamps are now able to convert that bonus XP for free for the next week, thanks to the promo that straight up follows it. So I guess I'm just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on the amount of XP they seem to have ramped up giving away this year.
I've given up on this. My original stance on this is I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I've just given up. So that's where I'm at.
Fair. This is kind of something where for me, I mean, obviously, I would prefer no treasure hunter whatsoever. I would prefer no Solomons whatsoever. I would prefer everything earnable in game. But I also know that people aren't willing. Like, I would also be willing to pay $20 a month for membership, which I know most people aren't. So I think that's why we have stuff like we do. That's why we have microtransactions, because we have to trick money out of people. But as far as XP events for me specifically, I really have very little problem with them because I think they're healthier than a lot of other stuff we have. First of all, they're super fair on Treasure Hunter. You can't get like tricked into, trying to like chase down a super rare purple because you're basically gonna always earn a bunch of XP if you want to spend the money for it or the in-game gold. I also think it's not stuff like elite skilling outfits like we used to get all the time, which were super unfair because they like the shark outfit that everybody's using right now was unfair when it wasn't in game because it let you let you AFK fish to a hell of an amazing level. Now that it's in game, those aren't a problem. But I'm glad that what we haven't seen in the past 6 months is more game-breaking stuff like that. I think XP is a better thing to give away than game-breaking stuff like the Fury Shark outfit when those weren't coming into game. Of course, that example is worse now because they've fixed that issue and are bringing them into game. But when that type of stuff doesn't come into the game, I consider that bad versus giving away XP.
I can agree there. I think getting the elite skilling outfits in game is really cool. That Shifting Tombs has a dramatically increased chance of giving you the master camouflage pieces. So
it's ridiculous. I have like something like 14k camo fragments already, and I'm only level 70.
I have all the pieces.
I got every single piece like day one from Shifting Tombs. It was crazy how quickly those showed up. I was 120.
You're 120, so you've got a super buff.
Sorry, forgot about that.
I'm not.
Fair enough.
But I'm only 86 thieving, and I have all of them.
Okay. Yeah, I believe it. I'll probably get it around that same place too. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that I personally disagree with Treasure Hunter as a whole, but I understand that if we want to play this game, then obviously it's going to be a necessity at this point because the membership rates are very low, and there aren't a whole lot of players, so it would jack up the price a lot. So I like it in the respect that it helps us play the game. It allows people to play. I only don't like Fallen Stars and stuff like that, the small ones and things, because that's all I ever get on Treasure Hunter, no matter what. And that's because my RNG is so bad. So, like, I know people get purples, they win 200 mils, they get lucky items, but it doesn't matter. Whenever the outfits are out, I don't get any outfit pieces. I don't get cosmetic pieces. I don't get anything that's not a white Fallen Star or sometimes a yellow very rarely.
You poor thing.
Yeah, right.
I get pretty decent luck on Treasure Hunter, but I always cynically say they're trying to change my opinion with like psychology. Like I get paranoid.
Well, you want to know how bad it is?
How bad?
I have an offhand Lucky, Chaotic Claw, and that's it.
Well, I have probably about maybe 3 or 4 lucky weapons and maybe 2 or 3 lucky pieces of like God Wars armor. I guess that's not too bad. I think my luck might be more average than I give it credit for. But
I have an offhand claw.
That's just insulting, isn't it? Excuse me. Anything else anyone want to bring up in regards to XPRNG or XPRNG? I'm okay.
Sarah says I don't buy keys, so it barely affects me. I mean, I think that's definitely.
I buy keys about once a year. I'll admit that.
That's also
I did to get my summoning up.
That's what I prefer about XP events. Is like XP is something that there are great rates to earn it in game. So I'm okay with it. It's the permanent, like I said, the permanent stuff that breaks it. And she also says I think Treasure Hunter should be restricted to bonus XP. I mean, I think that restriction is never going to happen. I mean, I guess I understand that. I would definitely, I guess, maybe prefer that. But that's just. I would prefer there be like XP boosters sold on Solomons, to be honest. Like, here, buy this and you get 100% XP for 5 hours or something, and it's like $50 or something like that. That would be my preferred way to do it. But unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to be the way they would do it. They would probably just do that on top of other things.
Yeah, I don't really like the straight purchase, pay actual money for this direct bonus. I do prefer the RNG because it gives people less of a chance to break the game.
See, we definitely fundamentally disagree there because I think the RNG is terrible because it encourages gambling and it's super unregulated, which means that Jagex basically gets to set the rates at whatever they want to, and we will never have any idea what those rates actually are.
Unless they open up in the Chinese market.
We've had that discussion.
Have we?
Well, Harley, I mean, yeah, we can fundamentally disagree there, but know that my stance with gambling is I had 28 mil, went to the duel arena, walked out with 2K, so I kind of, yeah.
Anyways,
let's continue on.
Move on to forced to do shifting tombs.
So, fair enough. They say pretty much just please make the rates better because either you do them now or no one's going to be around to do them with in
that's what I thought
months or so. And that could happen, but I like the top comment here a lot. Which I think
read the body. Well, the body of his paragraph is please make the race better. I just want to train Slayer, but I'm forced to grind this.
Oh, you poor thing.
I did not realize that Jagex had a gun to our heads, forcing us to.
I agree with their title. I don't agree with their body.
I can definitely agree with their body. I mean, Jagex was sitting right behind me the whole time and said you don't get to get off until you're rep 9.
The hallucinations that are setting in is actually just sleep deprivation, Romeo.
No. I think Mod Mark's behind me.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I don't really agree with their title because I think that shifting tunes are going to have way more staying power than most people think that they will because
I hope so.
Here's the thing about shifting tombs is the biggest thing is that it allows people of severely different levels to play together and of severely different goals. And that means to me that it has a very high chance of staying power. There is the majority of this community is not a big fan of PVM. Bossing, high-end bossing specifically is maybe 10-20% of the community. I would say Slayer is maybe 40%. And these are from I'm remembering numbers that Jagex has mentioned, so I might have them slightly off, but these aren't just I'm not just making this up. This is stuff that Jagex has talked about to us. Skilling is still one of the most popular things in this game. Most people are not maxed and they're just casual skillers. That's how a lot of people play RuneScape. And Shifting Tombs is specifically built targeting those type of players. Where if we have all you need is 8 level 50s, you could get the levels for Shifting Tombs in probably I would say 10 hours of making a new account, and then you can be playing with your friend who is maxed and comped and just wants to make some gold. That's the beauty of Shifting Tombs to me. Of course we'll have to wait and see if it actually holds up, but I don't see any reason that it won't maintain popularity just because of how well it's designed to appeal to so many people. But anyway, you wanted to read a comment.
Oh, I just like the top comment is all, and you basically covered everything that they say. Like the fact that it's such a good gold maker and there's so many skills to choose from it's probably not going to be dead content ever, really, for mid-level players. Like this is going to be probably a fairly lively activity for the time to come until something else usurps it, inevitably in the future. But go ahead.
I could definitely agree on the fact that it is for basically anyone, and high-level players can play with their friends and stuff, because like a friend of mine, he actually really wants to do dungeoneering, and I tell him I can't dungeoneer with him because his dungeoneering level is so low, and so if I'm going to rush and try and gain XP and whatnot, he's so far off that by the time my rush floors are done, he's starting his main floors. Okay. And so like I can't do it with him because I'll have to do 20 or 30 floors on my own before I can reset my stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's very true. That's why part of why I hate dungeoneering is everybody I know is 99 plus, and I'm like, I'm at 81, and even if people are at 99, they have so many more floors than me that they're basically rushing every floor I want to do, and so it makes it super hard to play together. And you're totally right that Shifting Tombs changes that dynamic. It's so sad
that like someone who's 80 dungeoneering I like can't play with, and not because they're bad.
Yeah, I tell my friends I can't do anything if their level is lower than 75. I won't play with them because mine's almost 90.
Yeah, and that sucks. It's like even people who are 99, like, and I'm 116 now. It's like I even have a hard time playing with people who are like 99 just because of just the available floors that are that I can play like for like 15 minutes with them, maybe an hour at best, and then I have to go do a bunch of stuff by myself before I can play with them again. That's just bad game design. Like, and whatever. But then again,
and I mean,
they clearly learned a lesson.
Mm-hmm. You have Sarah in here saying, Shifting Tombs is awesome. I hope it gets updates and such. And like Sarah is someone. I mean, she enjoys Slayer, but she doesn't enjoy bossing at all. I shouldn't say at all, but not at. She doesn't enjoy stuff like Rax. Like it's just not her thing. And I think Shifting Tombs is aimed perfectly at those type of people who don't enjoy bossing, but they want a social thing to do. And I think that's why it will succeed. And especially now that they're making it even more soloable, even like, I think it will be much easier, to get through the floors solo, which, will help it maintain its value as well. Where if you can't find a friend to go with, you can just go make your own floors.
Then go make your own friends.
I honestly don't like that they're making it easier to solo. I like that because it is high risk, high reward, and it's high encouragement to play with a group. And you can always use the grouping system and always find friends. If you do it with 3 people, it's exceptionally easy to finish with 3 people. If you do it, I mean, even on the stream that the JMods did, they didn't even finish it with all max rewards. The goal is not always to finish it with max rewards. That's just the best way to do it efficiently. And if you're doing it efficiently, you should have a group because you get more XP for doing it with a group anyway.
Well, solo was too far. I mean, I agree with you that it shouldn't be the best way to do it, but the majority of solos were failures for most people. Like,
yeah, I just don't think
to do a few hundred floors.
The point is, you're not supposed to go for max rewards. You can always finish. It doesn't matter. There's always a way to finish, and you always get rewards for finishing.
You have to be cognizant of it. That's the thing, is you have to make sure you're not caught with 10 seconds and your pants down. Like you want to.
But it's just
sometimes it's best to leave.
Having like 6. I think the problem is if we're talking about something like 6 sarcophagi, which some people are getting, like 6 to 8 sarcophagi is solo. Like that's
been nerfed, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Well, fixed. Yeah, but what Romeo is saying is that he doesn't agree with that nerf.
Yeah, there should be a cap on it. I mean, I don't think it should be much easier than that. Like maybe because I've done 5 teams, like 5-man teams, and it was like 0 chests, 2 sarcophagi.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think so, 5-man team. I think they need to do both. I think they need to make it slightly easier for solo, not much, and they also need to make it harder for more teams, because if you have a team of 5, it's ridiculous. Even with
well, I don't know, because sometimes I've done like a 5-man and there was 9 sarcophs.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you shouldn't be able to get like a 2 sarcophagus 0 chest.
Yeah, maybe like a minimal of 1 per person.
I mean, yeah, I don't know where it would be set, but anyways, we can move on, get through these topics.
Right now. This next one is by ACF Shooter, and who says, "What is wrong with this sub? I literally don't understand why people are just constantly berating Jagex about this update. Reputation grinds are in literally every single MMO I've ever played. World of Warcraft Legion had a rep grind that you could only do once a day and took weeks to unlock, still regarded as a good expansion. Get over it. It's not like 90% of you weren't going to AFK movie watch every other part of this game anyway. I know for a fact all you Urchin Fish, Prif Thieves, Saren Stone Mine, and AFK Abbey Demons and Dark Beasts. I don't play this game religiously anymore, but I enjoy Slayer. I like what they've added. The Slayer Codex grind is way worse than tomb running or fishing AFK. At least those give set rewards. I've done multiple tasks without a soul. But you know what is fun? It's fun grinding something for some content. RuneScape,
no.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
He says, but you know what? It's fun.
Oh,
so
you
he's
know
saying,
what? It's fun. Okay, so he put the comma in the wrong place. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's fun. It's fun grinding something for some content. RuneScape has always been a grind. Stop complaining. You complained about the Ark. You complained about literally every single update. The sub is starting to look like old school RuneScape. Can't wait. Maybe we'll actually start making good memes too.
Oh, that burn at the end.
Oh no, I don't want.
But
I don't want this sub to become memescape. Go ahead.
I do want to say too. He brings up a fantastic point. Is that most MMOs, the rep grind is daily only, and so like you said, you have to spend literally weeks to months doing that daily to get it. We are like, I don't know what I can't think of it. We are lucky that the rep thing in this city isn't a daily. Like you could, if you wanted to, you could no life it like Romeo did and already be done with your part of the rep grind. Like that is the thing where in most subs, like the only thing you could do would be like the soul obelisk, and that would be the only way to get rep. So I think they did a very good job balancing this rep system compared to what other MMOs have done, where making them only dailies.
I just paid $1 mil for a soul talisman.
Not bad. I'd do it. Would buy again.
Yeah. You
Sarah says, I take insult to this. I am a true comper. I can grind fishing for days without watching TV.
I probably could too. I haven't done it in a while though. That's for sure. It's a lot easier.
It's funny to think about. Like, I mean, I still play a lot of RuneScape where I don't watch anything. I'll just sit here and just stare at the screen. It's definitely still built into me as a way to play the game.
Sure.
Back in the day when we first played, YouTube was just starting when I came out, but still mostly didn't watch it. It was still mostly just play the game and honestly talk on the phone with my friends. That's what I did.
I sat on a landline playing RuneScape with my best friend who lived like 5 miles away from me. We'd sit on the phone together, play RuneScape together, and honestly, my computer really couldn't run much else than RuneScape Classic at the time. So yeah, we would play RuneScape and make our fun inside that world, and we never really needed to leave. There was no other website you needed to go to because it was such a magical place.
That's exactly how I did it. We would do 3-way calls. It was me and two of my friends who played RuneScape.
Sometimes we would have to 3-way calls.
Yeah, we would just sit on the phone for like 8 hours a day playing RuneScape. Those were good times.
That was literally like me from ages like 12 to 14 for sure. Was just on the phone all day playing RuneScape in my basement. To be fair, had a finished basement, and that's where I lived. But I was that classic stereotype of playing RuneScape in a basement. It's awesome. Anyway, let's continue on, shall we? Did I do what's wrong with this sub? Yes. Okay. All right. So shifting.
Yeah,
tombs.
We should be shifting tombs. Yeah.
Why do you get less rep for finishing fast? This is the dumbest thing. All right, well, it's not the dumbest thing, but it is the dumbest thing.
High reward.
At the same time, like I can understand that I get why you get less rep, but at the same time, they could give you bonus, I guess, for completing.
Well,
quick.
no, but I guess Chaplin has comments here. Says you get more optimal rates for the first 3 minutes. So if you're going to do another one, it's best to finish fast.
The first time any male has ever said that. But for real, you get more optimal rates for the first 3 minutes. So are they talking XP rates? What are they talking when they say
rep? Specifically talking about rep.
Okay,
it's in this post about rep. I think people misunderstand the fact that you get more rep for waiting as like it's better to wait, but you don't get better amounts of rep for waiting. It is better to finish floors fast and start a new one because your initial doing everything on that floor reward is more than waiting for 5 minutes. What it does mean you should do is wait for your group when you leave. You want to wait for your team at the bottom of the rope. Don't leave right away.
You don't want your team waiting for time to go up. That's a huge waste of time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was brought up to me pretty much on like day 2. And initially it sounded good, but I'm like, wait a second. Even forget the fact that there's a bonus. Even if it was a flat amount of rep, it still makes no sense to wait at the end, because yes, you're gaining rep, but you'd be gaining that same rep in another session starting over, working towards new rewards. So like, it literally never makes sense, even if that bonus didn't exist, to ever wait at the end for time to run out. It's always a time waster in any scenario. Anyway, that's all I have to say. So that's Shifting Tombs and why you want to keep it running and not hang around. Finally, let's see, I have another post here. There we go. Okay, this JMod just said to unlock content locked behind a 50-hour grind to do 1 hour a day. And they're not happy about this. This is by Joe1234. He says, gonna be fun to do this quest in like 2 months. Sorry for no clip. So, people are angry, clearly, about the fact that there's a grind. And one of the JMods made a reasonable suggestion. Play the game with moderation.
Play the game a healthy amount. Oh, how dare you suggest such a thing?
Yeah, if you apply that to any other situation, anyone would be like, "It's your problem." What is wrong with if someone was like, "Oh, only have 2 beers," and that's what do you mean? I only have 2, and I bought a whole pack. It's like, yeah, but you don't have to consume the entire thing immediately. It's the content doesn't have to be immediately consumed. That 50-hour grind. It could take a month. Why? Why does it have to be done in a week? Well, I mean, maybe because you want to compete with your friends, and that's fine, but you shouldn't be able to... Well, you can. You're able to, but I think it's stupid that people complain about the grind when... It's really
if you want to compete with your friends, then don't complain about the time required to compete with your friends, because then
exactly.
you're the one who's making that challenge. Like we said at the top of the show, and this is why I kind of put this at the end, and that's sort of... If you only want to do even if all you want to do to get rep in Menopause is the Soul Obelisk, you could do half an hour a day here and then spend the rest of your playtime doing something else, and you would be done with Menopause in 2 months, and that would be completely fine. That's not that much time. 2 months is not that long of a time, especially when you have a 3-month amnesty. Even when the amnesty is over, though, 2 months. Not that much time if that's how you want to do things. There's a comment here where someone tries to compare Livid Farm that it used to be 44 hours to complete, and then they say enter the complaints it was reduced to 22 hours. I'd like to point out that Livid Farm was not reduced for 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, I know. It was not reduced. It was right after launch. It was no. It
was not reduced due to the complaints. It was reduced due to it becoming dead content that was no longer usable. If in 7 to 8 years Jagex halves the Menopause reputation rates, I'll be totally fine with it.
Yeah, of course. It's silly, but this is exactly how you build a false argument, right? You cherry pick facts. You make statistics up. You use sources and don't cite them. This is exactly what they're doing here by saying something like that. Is they're giving you half truths. Yes, it's true that halved 8 years after it was released. Details. It's really the intricacy matters here. The details matter. So, yeah, good point. Before you bring up some comments here, before I read these comments within this document here, for anyone who wants a little bit of cringe for your Friday / whatever day you're listening to this, I have just, of course, been doing fishing to get my rep. And for the past couple of days, I've been using my Fisher-matics. And you could say that I don't do invention very often, right? And for whatever reason, I thought that you had to disassemble things at 12. I forgot that it was 10. It clicked in my brain after disassembling 2 things at 12 that disassembly you can do at 10, and I was wasting basically 4 hours of skilling time by doing that. And I just realized this is my 3rd one I just broke down, for anyone who's actually watching here, but and my 3rd one I broke down correctly, but the other 2, I realized I just basically dumped 8 hours of time wasted on invention. So there you go. For all of you people who have ever screwed up min-maxing out there, you can remember that MageBit is no better. Anyway, got 2 comments here in regards
And
to this
you can just skip the last comment because I just kind of summarized it, but the first comment is still worth reading.
All right, so Jockman here says, I thought the JMods who were making remarks like these forget that players have no choice but to do grinding content before they can get to stuff that they actually want to play. Crocodile Tears, for instance, was an okay mid-level distraction if you look at it as a quest, but compared to the 4-hour tomb grinder that preceded it, it was laughable. But you didn't have to grind tombs for 4 hours straight. You could have done...
You definitely have to grind tombs for 4 hours straight. Don't lie to them.
I mean...
Don't lie to them.
If you want to be number 1, yeah, you had to grind tombs for more than 4 hours straight. But
Want to be one of the first people to go to the soul altar, you do.
yeah, but fair enough. But for the average player, and of course that's who the JMods are going to be addressing on these live streams here, is like, the average player isn't going to do 4 hours of shifting tombs in one day. The average player is going to do 1, and they're going to start the Crocodile Tears quest probably next week, you know, and that's fine.
And also, like, the whole idea that, like, this person obviously doesn't like shifting tombs, and they're acting like that's everybody's opinion. One of the biggest issues I've seen in a lot of posts that have gone far up is, like, people who are just dissing shifting tombs, and it's like, it's clear that these people are obviously bossers who don't want to be doing anything else, which is like, if that's your argument against Metaphos, then, like we said, don't comp. Or comp the way this JMod suggested. Only do an hour a day. If you can't do an hour a day and then go do the other stuff you want to do in RuneScape, then you don't deserve the comp cape. That's just what it boils down to. And, you know, I think a lot of people have become happier now that the fact that Jagex is actually fixing, you know, they think city quests were pretty terrible as far as rep rewards go, and I think that the new daily that got discovered on, I think it was Wednesday, I think, you know, now people are seeing that rep is not actually as bad as they thought it was. I think maybe there will be a few more small tweaks, but I think, you know, from what I've at least seen from the subreddit, people have calmed down as far as complaining about rep goes. There's still some people who are angry because they just hate rep systems, which I can understand, but if you just hate rep systems, then once again, you don't deserve a comp cape, because that's gotta be part of comping, is doing stuff that you don't like potentially. Like, that's the name of the game.
I mean, my general opinion, I think, comes down to 50% of what I'm doing I hate, and the other half I like doing. Like, I spent probably 20 hours hating shifting tombs and hating this game and hating everything involved with what I'm doing, but it was fun. I hate everything.
It's so typical of a RuneScape. I hate everything about this. It's the worst experience of my life. It was fantastic.
And I hate RuneScape. Yeah, exactly. The whole time I'm like, I hate this. I'm like, I hate this game. I don't want to play this anymore. Fuck RuneScape. Oh, excuse my language there. But at the same time, I'm like, this is the best game ever, and I'm not going to play anything else.
That's RuneScape, definitely. And that is RuneScape in a nutshell. I've never been so in love and never hated a game as much as RuneScape on both sides of the spectrum.
I think the community feels that way, and when they're happy, they don't post anything, but when they're mad, they're really mad.
That's why you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's the way, you know, any internet form definitely is. It's like the angry minority is always going to be the people who post the most. And I would say, you know, to sum up the whole show today, and what I think the people should remember is, you can take it slow. You don't have to burn yourself out if that's what you're worried about. If you really want the comp cape and you really aren't enjoying Metaphos, then only do the Soul Obelisk. Slow down. If you don't like the Soul Obelisk, then do some AFK. Do some AFK fishing. You can earn your rep that way. There is no rush to get this. They have given you a amnesty for a reason. We, you know, can debate whether or not they should have, but it is in the game, and it will be there for another almost 3 months. You know, 3 months minus a week at this point. So slow down and actually remember to enjoy the journey. The whole point of RuneScape is the journey. It is not the end of the journey that is the point. Enjoy the rep system grind, because that's you playing the game. You playing the game is not finishing the rep system. You playing the game is you working on the rep system, and just remember that.
Very well said. The rep system is part of the game. You should find a way to enjoy it. Like, do what you'd normally do. And if
Regarding
it takes you somewhere else different, then you know what? That's part of the journey. That's part of an RPG. Go ahead.
I was going to say regarding Menaphos and its quest line, the names only. Are we to assume that Fight Club is both a joke regarding the movie and the card suit, considering we did have Stolen Hearts, Diamond in the Rough, and Jack of Spades? Is Fight Club supposed to be the club version of the card suit, or are we waiting for another quest with a pun on the word club? Or clubs, rather?
Works for me. I didn't even notice that. That's a good... That is punny enough for my liking, for sure.
All right, so it is a double joke then.
I think so. It works for me. I didn't even notice. I noticed the fight part. I didn't notice the club part. So
yeah, because it starts with the Shattered Hearts and the Stolen Hearts.
Yeah,
and then
Jack
you have the Diamond in the Rough, Jack of Spades, and then Fight Club.
Really interesting. I didn't even notice that. Cool. All right. Well, anything else anyone wants to bring up before we shut down this episode of RuneScape Weekly? Or forever hold your peace. Good to go?
I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know.
All right, then. Well, it's been a good show. I appreciate everyone who came out for today. Again, PVM Perspective should be out this weekend. I apologize for the delay. We'll get those audio issues fixed ASAP. Then I was saying, didn't even consider that the quests are a joke on card suits. I didn't either. Yeah, it makes perfect sense as well. I didn't even click in my mind until you said something, Romeo. That's pretty cool.
When they pulled up Jack of Spades, I made the connection.
Nice. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of RuneScape Weekly. I really do appreciate everyone who took the time to come out live. Of course, in the meantime, you can find us on the social medias. We got a Facebook page for you. Facebook.com/RSWeekly is our Facebook page. Got a Twitter for you as well, at RSWeekly over there. Discord channel for you, discord.runeweek.com. And if you could, please take the time to rate us and review us on iTunes or whatever podcast aggregator you use to obtain the show. Of course, if you watch us via YouTube or Twitch, make sure you like the live stream, like the video, follow us, subscribe to us, enable notifications so you know when we go live, all that fun stuff. You want to join us in-game, we got a clan chat going on for you. Clan chat, Kittle, Skill, and Chill. Or clan.runeweek.com. That will bring you to our Rune Clan page in case you are curious on our ongoing Rune Clan clan things. That's starting to sound like something I don't want it to sound like, so I'm going to move away from that and let everyone know about the skilling competition that we have going on this month currently. It is a Slayer skilling competition, obviously, in honor of the release of Menaphos. We have a couple hundred people participating in it right now. At number 1, we have Scooby-Doo69 with 13.8 million. Second place is Death Star with 6.7 million. And third place is K-Bunny with 4.3 million. Honorable mentions to Dr. Wolf, Naxtor, and Crasp there. Congratulations to everyone who's leading in that contest. Again, prize pot is 25 million, 15 million, and 10 million, respectively, to first, second, and third place. So if you missed out on this competition and you want to join the clan, you can do so. Of course, this is only going out to clan members specifically. So if you want to join the clan, you can participate in these competitions, but you can also just guest in the clan chat if the competitions aren't what you're looking for. You just want to hang out with us. That's also an option when we encourage it. We also encourage helping out the show. We got a Patreon for you, patreon.com/RuneScape. You can go there and support our podcasts. You can also get some perks while you're there. Right now, I'm working on the RuneScape History audiobook by July RS. Currently recording that, and I'm posting each piece in pieces, obviously, as I'm building it. So anyone at the $3 tier plus is getting access to basically the rough copies of that as I'm slowly building it. And everyone will get the final product once I finish. But if you want to watch my progress on that creation, you'll do so at patreon.com/RuneScape. If you want to help us out with a one-time support as well, we do have a tip line available, tip.runeweek.com. And if you're having problems with that, we also have paypal.me/RSW. But tip.runeweek.com is the best way to get a hold of us. You can submit a message to us. It'll pop up on our channel, all that fun stuff. And, of course, it supports the show. Got a shop available for you as well, shop.runeweek.com. If you still have mage bucks, you can spend them there. And we have an upgrades page for you as well, upgrades.runeweek.com. If you go there, that is our Amazon wish list. You can help us upgrade the studio. Everything there, things that we need to make the show better. So I appreciate any and all help in that realm. Finally, a big special thanks to our top Patreon supporters. That includes Rune Group, That's runegroup.uk. Kasky, Swagatorix, Alex W, Danny H, Kevin H, Ol Gunner, Hamster King, Sudwood, Godly Fury, and Tyler. Thank you so much for your ongoing patronage of the show. If that list will be updated shortly, by the way. It's a new month, so if you didn't see your name on the special thanks list, yada yada yada, that will be fixed soon. So yeah, thank you so much to the top Patreon supporters, and that list again will be refreshing next week. And of course, that not only goes to our top Patreon supporters, but all Patreon supporters and all of our listeners, whether live or after the fact. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. That's going to do it for this episode of RuneScape Weekly. We got some bonus content, I believe, coming this weekend. Me and Harley got some plans to talk about the Old School RuneScape Pride event, as well as possibly doing the RuneScape Weekly Pride event. That would be fun. The RuneScape Pride event. That would be cool. So keep an eye peeled on my channel and Harley's channel as well for that type of informations. That's going to do it for this episode of RuneScape Weekly. Until next time, and as always, happy scaping.